and convicted of murdering a 93-year-old woman, so his mental capacity can be reviewed. Clifton Lamar Williams was scheduled to be executed on June 21st, but his lawyers argued he is intellectually disabled and therefore ineligible to be executed. Williams, who has an IQ in the mid-60s, broke into Cecilia Snyder's home during a robbery in 2005, killed her, burned her body, and fled in a car, according to court records. On Tuesday, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals decided to send Williams' case to a lower court for a hearing to consider his mental capacity. The court wrote, "We remand this application to the convicting court for a live hearing to further develop evidence and make a new recommendation to the court on the issue of his intellectual disability." Prior attempts to have Williams' execution stayed were denied, but Texas has since reevaluated how it determines intellectual disability for death row inmates. The change came after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Texas's method for determining intellectual disability used outdated medical standards in the case of another death row inmate, Bobby Moore. Since the change, the sentence of 2 men on Texas's death row have been commuted to life in prison based on claims of intellectual disability. The execution of Williams was the first to be stopped by the court in 2018. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Reuters reports a former contestant on Donald Trump's reality TV show, The Apprentice, may pursue her defamation lawsuit against the president, according to a New York judge's ruling on Tuesday, despite Trump's efforts to have an appeals court put it on hold. Summer Zervos has claimed that Trump sexually harassed her and defamed her when he denied her allegations. Trump has argued that as a sitting president, he is immune from the lawsuit and is seeking an order from New York's highest court to freeze the case. The lawsuit could lead to Trump being questioned under oath and draw further attention to accusations of sexual misconduct against the president by more than a dozen women. Trump has denied the claims. At a hearing on Tuesday, Trump's lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, argued unsuccessfully before Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Jennifer Schechter that Zervos' lawsuit should not go forward until the New York Court of Appeals and, if necessary, the U.S. Supreme Court decide the issue. Zervos accused Trump of subjecting her to unwanted kissing and groping after she sought career advice in 2007. She came forward during the 2016 presidential campaign, and Trump called her allegations lies. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Zoo visitors watch the mating rituals of the ice cream shop staff, and a serious coworker puts on headphones to focus on his sandwich. Happiness is perpetually fleeting, so try to savor the next few minutes before it disappears once again. This is The Onion Week in Review. FBI officials announced they just can't bring themselves to bust a man who recently downloaded every season of the 1990s television show Picket Fences from a BitTorrent website. While stressing that pirating copyrighted material is strictly illegal, federal authorities expressed their sympathy for the man and claimed that perhaps the story of Sheriff Jimmy Brock and the strange events in a small Wisconsin town is all he has left to cling to.
We have more than enough evidence to bust him for piracy, but if the poor guy really wants to watch all 4 seasons of a 20-year-old CBS drama that nobody remembers, he's clearly going through a pretty big rough patch right now. Frankly, we don't need to make it any worse.
For statistical purposes, we have seized all private data from your personal computer, and we are disgusted with your recent internet search history. You sick f***. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
Free Talk Live. It's Free Talk Live, and of course, you can join us here on our toll-free lines, or Skype, or Discord. We'll give you that information, and you can bring up anything that you want to discuss. That is the point here of Free Talk Live. It's open phones every single night, 7 nights a week. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Those phone numbers are toll-free. They're 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733, or you can Skype in, a Skype username, LRN.FM. We've also got Discord, which allows you to call in, sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You'll find our chat server there with a bunch of different channels. The top one is the call-in line channel for Discord users, so check that out too. And, of course, you can bring up whatever is on your mind. We're going to start out here tonight where the 27-year-old mayor, it's pretty young for a mayor, 27. Michael Tubbs in Stockton, California, according to Reuters, has a what they're calling a radical plan to combat poverty in his cash-strapped city. A, quote, no-strings guaranteed basic income of $500 a month for its residents. Starting in early 2019, Tubbs plans to provide the monthly stipend to a select group of residents as part of a privately funded 18-month experiment to assess how people use the money.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing about this a few months ago.
It does sound kind of familiar. Quote, and then maybe in 2 or 3 years we can have a much more informed discussion about the social safety net, the income floor people deserve, he says, and the best way to do it because we'll have more data and research, Tubbs told Reuters. Now, do you think people are going to be honest with the researchers when they ask them, so, how'd you spend your $500 a month this year? Do you think they're going to say, I bought a bunch of crack cocaine, bought a bunch of methamphetamine, bought a bunch of alcohol, cigarettes, and do you think they're going to be honest?
It depends on how they wind up doing this. So if they wind up putting it on, say, a prepaid Visa debit card, you can kind of track that of, oh, they spent money at the grocery store. They're not necessarily going to know what was purchased at the grocery store, but they'll be able to see where the money was spent.
True. Now, are there restrictions on some of those prepaid cards to where you can't take them to an ATM and get a cash out?
Some of them you cannot do that.
Well, of course, people who are creative and motivated have ways around these things, right? So, like, for instance, food stamp cards or whatever, they'll go out and they'll basically trade their food stamps for drugs by giving people a discount, right? So you give your drug dealer a discount at the grocery store or whatever. You sell your food stamps to them at 50%, and then so they get a discount on their food, and in return they give them some methamphetamine or whatever.
So they take the drug dealer to the grocery store and buy them groceries?
That kind of thing. Or they come there with something the dealer wants. Maybe they go and they buy a PlayStation or something like that, right? And then, the drug dealer gives them a certain amount of drugs in return for that. So there are ways, and I'm sure that's only scratching the surface on the creative ways these people have thought of.
These individuals at the lower levels of the economic hardship, they're going to buy their beer, they're going to buy their PlayStations and their DVDs and all of their vices.
Yep.
They're doing that anyways. That's usually why they have problems.
Correct.
Because they spend all their money on good things when they should be buying rice and ramen and water.
Exactly. There's a difference between somebody who's fallen into hard times and they lost a job or something like that, and therefore they're just scraping by, barely getting the bills paid or even falling behind, but they want to get back to that level, versus somebody who has bad habits, and that's the reason why they're poor, because they are addicted to something.
So if this $500 can only be used a certain way, like it's a card that can only be used at certain stores, they're going to only be used to buy certain items, they're still going to have that cash that they were buying other things with on hand. So they'll buy their beer and their cigarettes with the cash that they made from their part-time jobs at McDonald's or wherever, and they'll go to Walmart to buy.
No. See, the interesting thing here, and this proposal doesn't say we're going to limit what they can spend this guaranteed income.
Well, we haven't gotten very far into the story yet.
Right, but like I said, I remember reading about this, and there was no kind of we're limiting what they can spend the money on. What's going to be interesting is to see if any of these people wind up telling their employer, hey, I don't need to work as many hours now.
Can you cut my hours?
Because this other thing is supplementing what I'm bringing in.
$500 a month.
I'm barely getting by, and I'm fine with barely getting by, but I'd rather barely get by and not be flipping burgers for 45 hours a week.
$6,000 a year is what they're taking in. That's an extra, that's a lot.
Unless this hurts businesses in the area and they have to raise their prices like overnight, and then all of a sudden this $500 a month doesn't mean anything because the milk is twice as much and the eggs are twice as much, the gas is.
Well, of course, that's not that likely to occur because it's going to just be this one city as opposed to if this were affecting
like a couple dozen families.
Well, according to the story here, it is a select group of residents to start with. The city has not yet decided how many people will receive income from the trial project, so we don't know if it's going to be a couple dozen or a couple hundred or whatever. That's yet to be determined. It is being funded by the so-called Economic Security Project, a so-called philanthropic network co-chaired by Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes. The idea of governments, according to Reuters, providing a universal basic income to their citizens has been gaining traction globally. The Finnish government is running a 2-year trial to provide 2,000 unemployed people with monthly payments of approximately $660. Didn't they cancel that?
They just canceled that recently.
It's not canceled yet, but this is last year, I believe.
What's the date on this article?
This is fresh. This is as of June 4th, so 2 days ago.
Okay.
The Finnish government decided, hey,
this ain't working out.
It's not working. We're not going to have the money. We can't do it.
Speaking of things not having money, did you see that some government agencies said that Medicare and Social Security are both going to run out of money sooner than they projected?
Really? How soon?
Like within the next 5-10 years for both of them.
What's Trump going to do?
We were just talking about this yesterday with one of my buddies who says that we'll get some of it. We're both Zennials. And
Zennials?
That's the tail end of Generation X.
Oh, XENN.
And right on the beginning of the Millennials.
I'd never heard that one before.
I've heard of it. It's just as stupid as calling somebody a millennial or a Gen Xer.
In Alaska.
But yeah, I've always claimed that the Ponzi, we're not getting any of this Ponzi scheme. And he's like, no, we'll get some. It's our kids that aren't going to get now. I'm like, I'm not so sure about that.
Social Security?
Social Security, it's on its way out.
Will, yeah, right. I mean, we're in our 30s, late 30s. You're going to have to, for Social Security, you'd have to make it another 30 years for you to get a piece of it. And that's presuming they don't raise the retirement age between now and then.
Unless I get in a car wreck or something and disabilitate myself.
Well, I don't pay into Social Security, so I'm not expecting to get anything out of it, and I shouldn't because
I pay a little bit into it.
I mean, there was like maybe about $10,000 I paid into it before I stopped paying into it. So technically, there's something maybe attached to my name. I don't know. I don't really care. I figured I count it as lost money at that point. In Alaska, each resident has long received an annual dividend check from oil revenues from the Alaska Permanent Fund, which Tubbs said is a model for his approach. Last year, the Alaska payout was $1,100. That's for the whole year. They're talking about doing $6,000 over the year, $500 a month.
But Stockton. Alaska is banking on the oil. They're giving taxes money back to their residents. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's oil revenues, basically, as I understand it. The Economic Security Project, as it's called, is providing $1 million to fund the Stockton trial after approaching Tubbs to ask if his city would be interested in piloting a basic income program. Tubbs, who was familiar with the concept, said, "I jumped at the opportunity." He claimed that Martin Luther King advocated for this in his writings. I don't know if that's true or not, but it could be. Hughes, who's 34, has proposed, this is the Facebook founder, has proposed the U.S. government give a guaranteed income of $500 a month to every working American earning less than $50,000 a year at a total cost of $290 billion per year. He says a 50% tax rate on income and capital gains for Americans earning more than $250,000 would pay for it. I'll tell you more about this plan here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You know, it's not going to matter the failures like you were talking about in Finland where this is already being canceled, their experiment. The failures won't matter. People are going to continue to push this concept because, hey, it's politically popular. Who doesn't want to, promise free money to people? It gets some votes, right? We're coming up. Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%. Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Do you live in a home? Do you live in an apartment? Do you have a small business? Would you like to keep it protected via the Blink home security system? It is such an easy home security system to install. I've done it, so I know how easy it is. And I've done the harder ones, too. Like, well, I haven't done them. I've hired people to do the harder ones because I didn't want to do it because they're too much of a pain in the butt. You got to do a bunch of drilling and running wires and all that stuff for the typical home security system. But Blink, blinkprotect.com/FTL is where you can go to get a super easy to do wireless system. You go there, you buy it, it comes to your house, you unbox it, you put the batteries in, which are included, into the cameras, you put them wherever you want, you set it all up in moments with your Wi-Fi enabled device like a smartphone or your tablet of preference. So blinkprotect.com/FTL is where you go, and that'll get you 15% off what is already a very affordable home security package. Once again, that's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live, to get the discount of 15% off. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Coming up, John McAfee is going to throw his hat back in the ring for the President of the United States, looking at the 2020 race. We can cover that story on the way here, but we're actually in the middle of yet another basically puff piece from the media, in this case Reuters, surrounding this concept of the universal basic income.
Right. And, as I mentioned, this sounded very familiar, and then pulling up some stories, there have been stories about this going back to late last year.
This the Stockton one specifically?
Yes. Yeah.
So Stockton, California, they've got a 27-year-old mayor who was approached by the so-called Economic Security Project, founded by Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes. They call it a philanthropic network providing $1 million to a private funding for this. So, okay, fine. Like, I can't object to that, right? If somebody with $1 million wants to give away all that money to people, then great, that's your money. You can do whatever it is that you want with it. That's not going to cause any problems in the world. Ultimately, they're not, in control of the government printing press or anything like that. So it's just going to mean that those people are going to be out $1 million, and a number of people in Stockton are going to be able to buy a bunch of vices.
But Conan did raise a good point, and I realize that they're not actually inflating the currency per se.
Yeah.
But if you do have all of this extra money coming into the community, then would not some of the businesses, everybody's got more money now, let's just raise the prices 5-10%?
Well, first of all, we don't know how many people are participating at this point. They have yet to announce or maybe even decide to how many folks are going to give this money. So it may only be, as you suggested, a few dozen. Even if it's a few hundred in a city like Stockton, California, that still isn't a whole lot of people. So $1 million, let's just say it all drops at once.
Right.
$1 million in a city like Stockton, again, that's not a lot. I mean, I don't have the population in front of me, but it's one of those California cities I've heard of, so I'm going to guess it's over 200,000 in population, if not 500,000 people or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull that up on the wikis.
So,
and by the way, I'm over here at the economicsecurityproject.org website, and Hughes refers to it as unconditional cash.
300,000.
300,000 people. Right. So now I don't know what, if they calculate these sorts of things, like we know the GDP or whatever the United States is, but, what's the daily amount that's spent, the market cap, or, I don't know what the right term, I'm not an economist, what's the amount that is transacted in business in Stockton, California every single day, with the 300,000 people living there, everybody going out and going shopping and doing the things that they do. I mean, it's got to be millions and millions of dollars changing hands, right?
Right.
So, even if you were to drop all 1 million at once, it still isn't going to cause any business owner to reassess their prices. And this is talking about doing $1 million over, an entire year. And I suppose if you actually did the division, you could probably do the math, right? 12 divided into 1 million, and then divide that up by 500. So per month,
right?
How many people that would be? We could figure it out right now if we wanted to. I just don't have.
And you're saying this would be 1 year, or how long did they say the pilot program was going to go?
I believe it's going to be a year. Oh no, 18 months.
Okay,
18 months. So yeah, so you divide 1 million by 18, and then divide that by 500, and that'll get you how many people can actually participate in this over that 18-month time frame. So a little bit more here from the Reuters report. The issue of economic empowerment is a personal one for Tubbs. You got the number?
Quick math, unless I missed a decimal place somewhere, 111.
Yeah. So, that's all. That's barely even a scientific study.
That's a drop in the bucket compared to the 300,000 people that live in Stockton.
So the issue of economic empowerment is a personal one for Tubbs. That's the young mayor of Stockton. He grew up there, where 1 in 4 residents lives in poverty, apparently, and his family relied on government assistance to meet their basic needs. He said, "My mom was on welfare for the first 5 or 6 years of my life. You'd get food stamps, but that's not cash, and maybe food's not the biggest need, so this gives people more agency to kind of make the best decision." So he almost, by that statement, it sounds like they're going to give people cash.
Yes. And if it goes back to anything, if we're going to have any kind of assistance, we should go back when it comes to food stamps. It should go back to those monopoly monies.
What do you mean?
Back in the day, you had to pull out a big pocketbook full of like monopoly money, and you'd be sitting there at the register, and everyone would be looking at you. Everyone knows. Now you just flash your
card.
Now you just flash your EBT card.
Right.
Right. I think they first started calling that the Dignity Card.
Oh.
Really?
Because it retains the dignity of the person that's using it because they're not having to show these
flash it.
really weird off-color sort of things that everybody knows isn't money.
Right, and then of course they're buying steak or whatever with it. And
So I worked at Walmart for a couple of years, and I used every now and then they would pull me up and I'd run a register.
Okay.
I preferred working in stocking or working inventory or working in the lawn and garden. Actually put things together. Because when I would get pulled up to the register, I would see these fools coming up with. I mean, they were eating so well. They were eating steaks. I mean, they had their beers.
And you got ramen at home.
And I'm sitting there like, man, I'm eating ramen at home.
That's just because he's cheap. Conan can afford a steak.
No, I can afford all these.
He's just too cheap to eat one.
Yeah, but if he had a bunch of free money, he might be buying some steaks.
Possibly. But I wouldn't accept it. I would never accept it. I would never go down that road.
If I bought you a steak, would you eat it?
This is the reason I never finished school. I mean, I'm so close to getting a degree in whatever I pretty much want.
Yeah.
But I can't afford the tuition, and I'm not taking just to have it.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking friggin' tuition assistance.
So if I bought you a steak, would you accept the steak and eat the steak, or would you consider that a handout?
I would want to know what kind of strings were attached.
You're my friend. I want you to actually eat a good meal every now and then.
Dude, you don't know how well I eat at home. I eat very well. And here's how. I buy everything raw, and I cook it. And this is why I don't go out to restaurants, because I can cook a meal. I can cook the same meal for a quarter of the price, and I don't have to tip.
I'm sure Conan eats way better than I do.
I eat very well, dude. And of course, and when it comes to...
He doesn't eat microwave food.
Right.
I know that, because you actually have to drop the ramen into a bowl of boiling water.
I have a microwave for boiling water, and that's about it.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to come back to this so-called economic empowerment. Is that really what's going on here with this proposed plan in Stockton, California?
This is enabling a bad idea, enabling bad behavior.
There's more coming up at 855-450 Free Like Freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want here. Take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live. Join us.
Get the ultimate knife at an ultimate price. The Fox Karambit knife. Finally available in the U.S. The Fox Karambit knife opens with one hand, faster than you can pull a handgun. For utility, for defense, and for way less than other knives of this caliber. Go to theultimateknife.com. Truly the best knife you will ever own. And only available at theultimateknife.com. Use promo code RADIO at checkout for free shipping. Get the ultimate knife at the ultimate price at theultimateknife.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype in if you like. Skype username's LRN.FM. And then there's the Discord on-air call-in line room, which you can access at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
We are just about a week away from the beginning of ForkFest 2018. It starts June 14th, so that's next Thursday. And it goes through June 18th, which is that following Monday. It's ForkFest. It's the second year of this decentralized camping festival, which means that there is nobody who's in charge. There's no organizer. There's no board of directors. The only people, if you want, that are in charge will be the campground. But you know, there's no event organizer here. It's all self-organized by the attendees of the event. So you decide what you want to do. You want to just go hang out and camp with other libertarians and anarchist types, voluntarists? Well, they'll be there. In fact, we know that there are at least a few dozen folks who are going this year. It sounds like it's going to be more people this year than last year. And some of them are going to be doing things like creating events for you to attend. So Daryl's going to be doing some athletic events, including a beer run or beer mile.
Beer mile.
Okay, I called it a beer run the other night, and Mark was like, "Isn't that just where you go and get beer from
when you
in town?" Yeah.
Going on a beer run.
So the beer mile, let me see if I recounted it correctly on the air. I said you run a quarter mile, you pound a beer, you run another quarter mile, pound another, run another quarter mile, pound another, run another quarter mile, and pound another. Is that right?
Yes. And if you do not drink regulation beers, and there are rules for beer mile, or you just don't drink the beer, then you do a penalty lap.
So an extra mile, you mean, right? Or an extra quarter mile?
An extra quarter.
The quarter mile is a lap.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's not going to be a thing of I'm putting out tables every quarter mile around it. No, there's going to be a loop.
Now, what's a quarter mile? What's the qualified beer? What does that mean?
I don't have the rules pulled up in front of me, but there are regulations on the size of the beer. The alcohol content must be above a certain percentage. You can't pre-open the beers.
So nobody can. So if you wanted to drink an O'Doul's, that would not qualify because that's a non-alcoholic
correct
beer. Gotcha.
Oh, you could drink it, but
you
run
have
a
to
penalty lap. So if you don't want to drink any beer at all,
you run 2 miles.
Go run 2 miles.
So that's one of the things you're doing. There's a few other things as well. There's actually a couple different competing calendars that are going on because, again, ain't nobody in charge of this. So if somebody else wants to create a calendar, there's 2 of them competing with one another. One of them's over at liberty.menu. The other one is a Google Calendar-based one, and they're both linked to on the ForkFest forum, which you can go to forkfest.party. You'll find links to the forum, to the Telegram chat group, which currently has over 40 people that are in that group. And I think it's going to turn out to be a good event. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be broadcasting from the event, and so we'll look forward to seeing you there if you can make it up we'll hope to see you. Go to forkfest.party to learn more. Again, it's June 14th through the 18th. We're coming up 1 week basically from tomorrow. So forkfest.party. As we go to Dave, and I'm going to guess it's Dave Ridley calling us from Colorado tonight. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. Yeah, visiting Colorado. But I have information about New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So I have an update on this. You may remember this incident. I guess it would have been, I guess it was over a year ago now that a state rep kicked me out of a hearing for trying to film.
Yes, I recall that.
Was this inside the State House?
Yes, although hearing is not the right word. And
it was like a finance subcommittee meeting or something, correct?
And it was in the legislative office building, which is part of the State House complex.
Right, that's where they hold a bunch of their committee meetings.
So Lynn Ober, the chair of the committee, just saw me taking some pictures inside the meeting, and she interrupted the meeting and said, sorry, no photography is allowed, thank you. Do not engage with the photographer. Do not talk to him. Leave. Call security.
Pay no attention to the man behind the camera.
And this was ostensibly a public meeting, not some sort of closed session?
Correct.
Okay. That sounds like a clear violation of... Yeah, no problem. We're just going to hang out here.
Sorry, I was just talking to somebody else. So what happened after that was that I was over there, I guess it was just a couple weeks ago, and I occasionally will ask people about that incident, not necessarily, about me, but about, hey, that's not going to happen again, right? And you're against that, right? Well, so I asked Representative Moffitt about this, and he's a Republican, and I said, yeah, a member of your party tried to, ban filming at a meeting. Did you hear about this? And what's the buzz about it? Is that still happening? Are they still doing that to people? He's like, oh yeah, like we all heard about it. He's like saying, yeah, we pretty much all heard about it. It's a big deal. This is the impression that I got from him. What he said, literally, he said, quote, that got a lot of attention, and I think everybody acknowledged that was not the way to go, unquote. So,
well, that's good.
I had not realized it got publicity, but I had not realized it had gotten so much publicity inside the State House, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought it would have either. That's interesting that the word had gotten around about that. I don't know if there's any kind of action you can take, like, lawyering up and bringing some sort of lawsuit against them, because presumably you got video footage of being kicked out because you're always armed with a video camera. This is a clear violation of your right to be the free press, of your right to observe a public hearing. And I have spent countless hours recording video in that State House, and I've never once had an issue like that happen to me.
About how often do you go around interviewing people?
Oh, I don't do the ambush stuff in the State House.
But that's not what was happening in this situation. This was...
But they know Ridley as the ambush guy.
Right, but he heard, there's going to be a finance subcommittee hearing. Let me go see what this is.
But I get your point, Conan, that they were maybe more likely to pick on Dave because of the ambush interviews. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I think this makes the point that we don't have to lawyer up. We can get results over there without lawyering up, without running for office, without requesting bills. We can do it by, asymmetric, peaceable conflict. Do something that's outside their box. That's how you fight them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do think there is something to, embarrassing them publicly. I think that's much more, persuasive. They don't want that kind of negative publicity. And you got the video, so, they should be embarrassed about what they've done. Although that said, I wouldn't necessarily say there's anything wrong if somebody did decide, if there was an attorney who wanted to take a case like that pro bono. I don't think it's worth spending any money on it. But if an attorney was like, yeah, let's sue these State House people and teach them a lesson, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I mean, it's their system. They're the ones who consented to it, so there's nothing wrong with somebody you turning it against them or trying to.
Yeah, I'm not going to condemn that. I probably wouldn't do that myself, but it's something to when people fight back in any way, at least it gives us something to talk about, even if we might not agree with the exact method.
Well, for sure, and you might actually see that rather than the word just spreading around amongst the state reps, if there was a lawsuit that was brought, that may actually encourage mainstream media to pick up the story. Like, oh, this guy got harassed. Now there's a lawsuit. That's a story worth reporting on from their perspective. So are you? I know you sometimes get into it out there in Colorado. You tend to go out there, I think, to visit family on a yearly basis. But sometimes you get into some situations with your video camera out there. Have you been making appearances?
Oh yeah, ForkFest.party is getting a lot of views. I got some viral videos because I went over to the Air Force Academy and did a First Amendment audit on the Air Force Academy.
Nice. Meaning that you came out with your video camera and just stood outside, or what were you doing?
No, I just drove right in, drove right up to a ceremony, stepped out of the car, called the PR department and told them I was there, and then went up to the door and just started interviewing everyone who was in uniform.
Did they give you a hard time?
Not too hard, actually. They were professional, I would say. A little bit, they weren't completely transparent, but they were more transparent than I expected, and they treated me more politely than I would have.
So I take it we're not going to see you at ForkFest since you're over there in Colorado right now?
Correct. I'll still be here on,
June 14th through the 18th. Hey, thanks for promoting it on RidleyReport.com on your YouTube channel, Dave. Thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. There's more coming up here at 8:55, 450 Free Like Freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to My Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
After this morning's police raid on Cosmopolitan magazine's male pleasure laboratory revealed that test subjects were forced to endure horrific abuses and inhumane living conditions, Onion reporters spoke to 23-year-old Daniel Chertok, one of the numerous men exploited for the monthly magazine's studies on erotic stimulation.
It was awful. They drove us wild for days on end. Once they made me lather myself with gallons of sexy bath oils, and then read thousands of racy text messages until my eyesight began to blur. Then for the next 12 hours, they blasted sultry songs into my ears and made me simulate 50 crazy hot sex moves. They said I couldn't rest until they found the bliss button on my Randy regions.
According to Chertok, test subjects were often subjected to hours of grueling experimentation at the hands of female scientists. Chertok added that many of his fellow subjects were not lucky enough to survive the excruciating treatment.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, Ian here.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
You can join us on our Discord line as well. That's the first chat room on the Discord server. Go to discord.lrn.fm, the first room. You join that. When we notice you in there, we'll join you, and then you'll be on the air with us, sounding almost like you're in the studio here. You can, of course, talk about anything you want. The Discord server actually allows you to converse with other hosts of the show. At the very least, Conan and I are frequently seen in there. Daryl, I don't think you drop in there very often, but
almost never.
Yeah, we don't guarantee that everybody's going to be in there, but there's a lot of the hosts that do show up in there pretty often. And then it's just loaded up with Free Talk Live listeners, some of whom you might recognize their names because they're semi-regular callers, like Gene the Christian Anarchist and Robert from Vermont and others. You can drop on in there anytime you want. It's open 24/7. There's different channels in which you can talk topics about cryptocurrency, about New Hampshire, about gaming, and more. Head on over to discord.lrn.fm. There's apps, by the way, so if you've got a computer or a smartphone, there's a Discord app for you there, or you can just use their web version, discord.lrn.fm. Let's get back to the story out of Stockton, California, where the proposal is coming from a Facebook executive, somebody who is one of the founders of Facebook. His name's Chris Hughes, and he's founded something called the Economic Security Project. Now, Conan, you actually pulled up their website, so I don't know if you've gleaned any useful information from it.
No, there's nothing useful here at all. It's just what they want to do. They want to make income guaranteed, and they don't necessarily say who they're going to give it to or where they're going to get the money from.
Well, no, they want the government to do it. That's what the story here says.
Eventually, yes, that's where it's going to come from.
So they're taking the Facebook guy's money. He's got billions probably, and so if you got $1 billion, taking $1 million out of it and dropping it on some experiment ain't no big deal.
And then that's a tax write-off.
Yeah, I guess it would be, yeah.
Because he's giving the money to this charitable entity.
Right, and they're giving it to
tax
people.
write-off.
They're giving $500 a month is going to be the plan here, and you did the math, Daryl. It's going to come out to about 110, 111 people that are going to qualify for this program if they keep it at the current $1 million rate.
And that's assuming that the entire $1 million winds up going to
the people and not overhead.
And not overhead, because I didn't count any overhead.
Good point. Yeah, so you got to pay the people to pay the people.
That's why I'm saying it's probably only going to wind up being a couple dozen.
$500,000 or something like that instead of the whole $1 million. So maybe 50 people.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And again, I can't say I oppose somebody giving away their own money in the way they want to do it. I wouldn't do that. I mean,
I can tell you I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah,
but
it seems highly irresponsible to just give away a bunch of money like that. But then again, I am in the middle of giving away cryptocurrency to people in the Keene area.
Right, but you're not giving them $500 a month worth of it.
I'm giving $20 worth of it one time.
And you've done that how many times total?
Over the last year, I started by giving $5 a month, or not a month, but $5 in Bitcoin like more than a year ago. I've probably given away several dozen people, like maybe 40 or 50 people at this point. The recent campaign, only about 9 people so far have signed up.
What guys like Hughes don't really think of as the long-term consequences. I mean,
against the
against
recipients?
UBI. Exactly. what his problem is that what he probably considers is the where's the money going to come from long term, and he's eventually going to want. Yeah, he might put $1 million in, but he wants the government to eventually start paying for it. But the long term consequences,
right? Eventually, 50% tax rate on income and capital gains for those Americans earning more than $250,000.
Is this continual destruction of personal responsibility? He is. I mean, every time you give money, these handouts to people. This is why I don't even sponsor giving the $5 to the guy, the bum on the street.
No,
I don't help the welfare program here in Keene, the 100 Nights. I don't support the community kitchen. At all, because I grew up with people who fed into that.
Yeah,
all the time. And guess what?
And guess
what? They're still on the lower end of economic status.
I give to 100 Nights. They're not giving out money to people at 100 Nights. They're
getting city money. They're getting like $15,000 of city money.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't start that way, though. When they started, they actually went against the city and opened up the shelter without permits, even though the city was threatening them over it. The founder, Don Primrose, actually went ahead and just threw the doors open and welcomed people in for the 100 coldest nights.
And now they're lobbying. Every year they're lobbying the city government for more money every year. They're trying to get 20, 25,000. They always get dropped back down to 15.
The community kitchen that you mentioned, that's basically the city food bank sort of thing, but they also do a meal once a night. So they're giving people food.
I think it's like 5 nights.
They're not giving them money.
And by the way, they're getting $90,000 from the city. The community kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look.
Yeah, I wish that was completely privately done, but unfortunately, there's a state law that says that municipalities must provide certain services.
And like all gentrified cities and towns across this country, we have a homeless problem. We have them living out in the woods, and then they go out the main street, and they sit there and they beg, and they sit there and they have their drum circles right there in downtown, and it's pissing some people off. I don't really care because I don't go downtown.
What's your problem with drum circles?
It depends on how badly they stink and how badly the drum music is.
So the problem's with the smelly people, not drum music.
Well, it depends on what they're on. Their drumming might not be so good to listen to.
All right, well, wait a minute, Conan. So let me call you out here because you are one of the board of directors of Cheshire TV here in town,
which receives
money based on what?
It's taxed. They don't call it tax, but it is. It's a franchise fee, and I don't support it. What did I ask yesterday? I asked about having a fund drive, a fundraising situation where we would actually, because ultimately that's how I want Cheshire TV to be funded. I don't like this franchise fee thing. It is a tax, Daryl. It's a tax.
No, it's
cable. If I paid cable. There's no way I can get out of that franchise fee. I would have to pay Spectrum or whoever it is.
It's a service fee for people that have cable. If you don't have cable, you are not paying this fee.
And there's law. There's a New Hampshire law that says all cable companies must pay this fee to municipalities. Otherwise, they can't operate.
Yeah, look,
it's a forced involuntary tax.
It's
there's also a federal law that set up the entire thing for community access television to exist in the first place.
The good news is I like how the money is being spent on local content, people getting together. Even if it's a lot of them are these city councilors doing their own shows, at least it gives them the opportunity to get out there and put their 2 cents out there.
Okay, my point though on this is that in the world of running a charity, you don't really have, unless you're the one running it. You've got limited options on what you can do out there. And in the case of Cheshire TV, I support its mission of providing a community option for people to get their message out, just like you were just talking about. But the reality of it is, as Daryl pointed out, that concept, the public information channel, public education government channels, that's a creation of the FCC in the first place. Had the FCC not come down on the cable industry and said, you gotta allow this, you must provide this, then they probably wouldn't exist at all.
Well, so be it.
And that state statute that you mentioned, the state statute that you mentioned just says that the franchise fee has to be funneled through the city. It doesn't say anything about the existence of a franchise fee. That's a federal thing.
Right, and we're not even mentioning how much the city is keeping of that franchise fee before it gets to this
right, there's
community
nothing,
access.
There's nothing in the state or the federal regulations that permit the city to do that. They just do it.
No, actually, if I understand the law correctly, the city can take it all, 100% of it.
They can take it all. In fact, there are some PEG channels that the city takes 100%, and then they just put a bulletin board up, and then they just take all of the money for the city operations.
Yeah, I would like to think that today in this at the level of technology that we live in, we could create Cheshire TV in this city and totally fund it through donations and through voluntary donations.
I actually got a price quote
look what
ago.
look what we're doing right now here in Keene.
Yeah. Years ago, Conan, I actually reached out to what was then Time Warner and now a company called Spectrum, but this was probably a decade, probably 2007 was when I did this, and I was wondering, what does it cost to rent a channel 24/7? Because you can go and buy advertising from them for a certain price, but if you got the money, they'll sell you a channel.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just put on whatever it is you want to, probably as long as it's not like, hardcore porn or something like that, as long as it's, within whatever the FCC's rules are for cable, which is a much more permissive set of rules than, say, broadcast television. Like, on South Park, they say the S word and things like that. So you could put on whatever you want. And it was only a few grand a month. You could get like a lower tier, like channel 1 through 20, like the premier tier of channels, the ones that most people spend their time on. You could get that for several $1,000s a month. I think it was like $5,000 a month or something like that. It wasn't, insanely expensive. If you had enough advertisers or enough donators or whatever, you could do it. The problem is, coming up with the content.
Yep. That's the same problem we're having here with Cheshire TV.
Well, Cheshire TV's got plenty of content because they've been around for a decade, and they got producers and they've got outside sources that they can get content from. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We got more coming up here. We can talk more about charities. Also go back to the universal basic income in moments.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-261-9818 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-261-9818. Again, 800-261-9818.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,296 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,609. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. Treasury Department on Tuesday issued a statement directed at allied governments and private companies operating out of allied countries, warning them against trade with Iran, warning they face substantial risk if they are caught. The Undersecretary of the Treasury said that the world must harden their financial networks and make sure they have airtight procedures in place to prevent even accidental business ties to Iran. He added that nations must ensure that Iran and its proxies are not exploiting your companies to support their nefarious activities. Though presented as a warning about being tricked by Iran, the warning is likely primarily directed at EU nations, as the EU has already decided to prohibit its companies complying with U.S. sanctions on Iran. The European Union is planning to try to block the U.S. from punishing those companies, but many of the major businesses are being very cautious about new deals with Iran, fearing the U.S. will go after them anyhow. U.S. sanctions against Iran's nuclear program are expected to ratchet up in the next several months after President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the nuclear deal. Yet the deal remains in place, and many nations may not be willing to follow the U.S. in this crackdown so long as Iran remains compliant. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals on Tuesday stayed the execution of a man convicted of murdering a 93-year-old woman so his mental capacity can be reviewed. Clifton Lamar Williams was scheduled to be executed on June 21st, but his lawyers argued he is intellectually disabled and therefore ineligible to be executed. Williams, who has an IQ in the mid-60s, broke into Cecilia Snyder's home during a robbery in 2005, killed her, burned her body, and fled in a car, according to court records. On Tuesday, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals decided to send Williams' case to a lower court for a hearing to consider his mental capacity. The court wrote, "We remand this application to the convicting court for a live hearing to further develop evidence and make a new recommendation to the court on the issue of his intellectual disability." Prior attempts to have Williams' execution stayed were denied, but Texas has since reevaluated how it determines intellectual disability for death row inmates. The change came after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Texas's method for determining intellectual disability used outdated medical standards in the case of another death row inmate, Bobby Moore. Since the change, the sentence of two men on Texas's death row have been commuted to life in prison based on claims of intellectual disability. The execution of Williams was the first to be stopped by the court in 2018. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Reuters reports a former contestant on Donald Trump's reality TV show, The Apprentice, may pursue her defamation lawsuit against the president, according to a New York judge's ruling on Tuesday, despite Trump's efforts to have an appeals court put it on hold. Summer Zervos has claimed that Trump sexually harassed her and defamed her when he denied her allegations. Trump has argued that as a sitting president, he is immune from the lawsuit and is seeking an order from New York's highest court to freeze the case. The lawsuit could lead to Trump being questioned under oath and draw further attention to accusations of sexual misconduct against the president by more than a dozen women. Trump has denied the claims. At a hearing on Tuesday, Trump's lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, argued unsuccessfully before Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Jennifer Schechter that Zervos' lawsuit should not go forward until the New York Court of Appeals and, if necessary, the U.S. Supreme Court decide the issue. Zervos accused Trump of subjecting her to unwanted kissing and groping after she sought career advice in 2007. She came forward during the 2016 presidential campaign, and Trump called her allegations lies. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
George W. Bush may be retired from politics, but he's keeping busy with his new hobby of painting. Today, the Picasso-in-chief tweeted his latest picture, a turkey sandwich and glass of lemonade in front of the ghost of the Iraqi child that follows him everywhere. Rebecca Mira has been following the flourishing art career. He's pretty good, Rebecca.
Yeah, well, Rachel, Bush doesn't claim to be a great artist, but as he put it, not bad for an old man, huh?
Not bad at all. He says he likes painting simple things he sees in everyday life, like his dogs, that dead Iraqi child. You can see that Bush's art is improving over time if you take a look. At first, he could barely draw the Iraqi child's transparent hands, but now they look much more realistic.
Much more. You know, I'm not surprised that he's getting better. Bush practices constantly.
And Laura Bush says he's more focused than ever, locks himself away for hours at a time and won't talk to anyone while he's painting.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if history will look back on Bush as a politician or the next Rembrandt. Up next, a study found that drinking red wine once a day can help the body get hammered.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program and inviting you to join us on the radio. We've been talking about this horrible idea that is just going to keep coming back again and again. The people in the media, the lefties in the media, love it. So they just eat it up whenever somebody, ponies the idea up for people to talk about.
As long as there are poor people, which there are always going to be poor people,
right,
they're going to keep talking about this nonsense.
The idea being economic, what they're calling economic empowerment. In this case, it's actually the idea of the universal basic income, where the government, if these people get their way, will distribute money every single month to basically the claim. Some people want to see it to be everybody. Right. This particular proposal by one of the founders of Facebook is that it would only
along with the mayor of Stockton, California.
Correct. The founder of Facebook approached the mayor of Stockton and pitched the idea to him as an experiment funded privately for now, but eventually they want to convince the U.S. government to give what they're calling a guaranteed income of $500 a month to every working American earning less than $50,000 a year at a total cost of $290 billion per year. He says a 50% tax rate on income and capital gains for Americans earning more than $250,000 would pay for it. Now,
which is exactly why Finland dropped it, because they realized what it would actually what it would cost, what the tax rise would be if they would make it work successfully.
Now, at the very least, they're proposing only giving it to working Americans, so that's different than some other proposals where it would just be given to absolutely everybody.
Right, every man, woman, and child.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a different proposal. Not to say I support it, I don't, but it's a tweak that I've yet to see in some of these proposals. Now, of course, what does it mean to qualify as working? Does that mean
5 hours a week?
Yeah, what does that mean? Going on here, this is the story from Reuters. We'll share more of it with you in moments. But first, we're going to Nolan. He's calling us from upstate New York, listening online via the TuneIn app. Hello, Nolan. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hi.
Hey there.
So currently, so here's the thing. I have libertarian ideas. I'm currently registered as a Republican because I don't really see a future for libertarianism, especially if you look at the presidential ticket they nominated in 2016.
Well, there's no future for libertarianism in New York. I can certainly agree with you there. But we live in New Hampshire where libertarians are doing great. We've got libertarians elected to the state house, and all is well here. But anyway, go ahead.
But I meant like in terms of the party. I'm like all for libertarianism as an idea. But so I'm registered as a Republican. So, but I have not really been a fan of their stance on marijuana and recreational marijuana, especially if you look at Jeff Sessions, who
he's not a libertarian.
Yeah, he's not a libertarian, and but just the way he not only violated, when it comes to recreational marijuana, but also how he violated states' rights. Essentially.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're saying you're not a fan of the Republican stance on legalizing?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Republican stance.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you weren't a fan of the libertarian stance, and then you pointed to Jeff Sessions as an example, which really confused me.
I don't know how you two got that. I heard him clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, Sessions sucks.
Yeah.
He's a little dark elf.
Yeah. I agree.
Don't insult elves like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about it?
what I'm wondering is, so how do we convince Republicans to kind of move, because they have had a few pro-marijuana candidates, like they have Eric Brakey, who's running for the Senate seat in Maine, and he's on track to be the nominee. So how do we move the party in general towards a stance that's more,
I don't know if any of us. I don't know if any of us in studio tonight could give advice on trying to influence Republicans to be something other than Republicans, because none of us are Republicans.
Here is your solution. You have to wait for all the old Republicans to die.
Well, okay, here's another idea. If you can actually make the idea of legalizing drugs or cannabis or whatever popular, then you'll see politicians following along with what people want. Eventually, they'll act like they were out in front of the train the whole time. As we've seen with some of these national politicians, there was some Republican guy, John Boner or something like that. He got out in front of He was like a drug warrior, right? And now he's on the board of directors.
Former Speaker of the House.
Right. Isn't he now on the board of directors of some cannabis?
Same board of directors that Bill Weld sits on.
Right. So
it's not that they figured that the voters were convinced and this is what the voters want. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's all about revenue.
Sure.
And it's the same thing here in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
They haven't figured out how to tax it correctly yet. And our problem here in New Hampshire is we have the alcohol lobby. We make so much money from alcohol, they don't want weed.
Well, now, Conan, to some extent you're right, but there is still the prohibitionist mentality that exists, and it exists on both the Democrat and the Republican side.
Right.
And it's not necessarily that they want revenue. It's that they truly believe that this is the devil's weed and that it will make black people have sex with white people and that it will make all kinds of women promiscuous.
And to quote one of the senators from a couple of years ago during a discussion on some kind of decrim thing that wound up failing at the time, I heard that if you put cannabis in a grinder, it turns it into 90% THC. And we can't just say that we're okay with people having that.
I saw that happen. I know that. That's true.
Ian, these politicians are willing to throw their prohibitionist nature out the window because they're running out of money. They don't have money to fund these programs that they want. They're willing to throw it out the window in order to get that extra money to pay for their crap.
I think that's true. I think that is what's going to bring a lot of them around. But here's my better suggestion for you, Nolan, rather than changing popular culture, a very specific political strategy for you. I mentioned that we're here in New Hampshire, you're there in New York.
So close.
You're very, very close, but not close enough because New York is the number 50 on these.
I saw that.
Yeah, the Freedom in the 50 States. It's a study that's regularly done in the U.S. By the Cato Institute and a couple other institutes combining their efforts. New York's number 50, and it's way below even California, like 49.
If California became twice as bad, it would still be
number
ranked
49.
Higher than New York.
So New York's like the worst place you could possibly live if you care about freedom. So here's what you ought to do, is you ought to go to 101reasonsfilm.com, check out the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, and then start planning your move a few hours to the east, where you'll then be in the number one most free state. So an instant increase in freedom just by simply moving across the border. But further, what you're going to find out's the case, and I know this bugs Daryl, but it's the case and it's the truth. There's a bunch of libertarians who've moved here, and they've joined the Republican and Democrat parties. Most of them have joined the Republican Party, and they're trying to take the Republican, like literally take over the Republican Party from the inside. And according to Mark Edge, who's one of our co-hosts here, he says they're darn close to actually accomplishing that. So if
they came within 100 votes of changing their platform to say that marriage is not just one man and one woman.
It's it's progress for the Republicans.
So you can either move here and stay Republican, or guess what? You could become a libertarian finally, and you can vote Libertarian this year.
I'll be right down.
Yeah. Hey, Nolan, I hope that helps. Sounds like you got to go. Thanks for the call tonight. Again, check out New Hampshire at 101reasonsfilm.com because, this is a strategy that has been being used against the Libertarians for the longest time. It's one of the reasons why I got fed up with the Libertarian Party, and I called it quits. I was a life member of the National Libertarian Party, and I suspect there aren't that many of those. Because, it costs like $1,000 or something to...
it's $1,500 now.
When I joined, it was, I think it was like $1,000. This was, 15 years ago or something like that.
Right, it used to be $1,000.
Yeah.
I wound up, because of a typo, getting life membership for $100.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I resigned because I was sick and tired of all of these, let's call them conservatives, coming into the party and basically trying to take it over from the inside. This is called a hostile takeover, a political takeover. It is something that is just sort of part and parcel of the political process. If you have a club that is open to anybody, then you shouldn't be surprised when the people who hate you end up joining the club if your club is successful. If it looks like a political party is becoming a success, guess what? You're going to be infiltrated. It's just how it works. And so now that's happening to the Republicans here in New Hampshire, and probably to a lesser extent the Democrats. But that's happening, and I think it's good that it's happening in reverse, because we've got a lot of libertarians moving to New Hampshire. You should too.
From the 6th letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. You can bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
We've been talking off and on throughout the show here about this program that they're going to be launching sometime soon. I guess 2019 is when it's expected. It's going to last 18 months in Stockton, California, where one of the founders of Facebook is taking one of his millions and donating it to dozens of people on a monthly basis in the form of a $500 a month handout. They're saying they want to test this. They want to see what the results are. They want to see what people spend the money on, but yet we're not sure exactly how they're going to find that out beyond just asking them, because the comments in the story so far make it sound like they're just going to be handing out cash, which means that you would then have to rely on the honesty of people to
Well,
report.
If that's the case, they're probably going to do some kind of selection surveys and wind up ensuring that whoever is selected is going to be willing to, accurately report these things.
That doesn't mean anything. We're going to give you $500 a month. Will you accurately report what you spend it on? Sure.
No. That's not how you pre-select people. You wind up doing a series of stuff, and then you later, we found that you've been honest with all of these other things.
Oh, you don't tell them in advance?
You don't tell them in advance. We're giving you money. Will you be truthful?
So you're saying you'd put an advertisement in the newspaper looking for volunteers for some sort of study.
Right. So you do some kind of not quite psychological experiment to make sure that they're going to be honest with you. And then you say, you have qualified for this other program.
All right, that's possible. So the program here is being brought about by, as I said, it's something called the Economic Security Project, founded by Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes. He approached the mayor of Stockton, whose name is Tubbs, Michael Tubbs. He's 27 years old. He says he grew up on food stamps, and he says that you get food stamps when he was a kid or whatever, but that's not cash. And maybe food's not the biggest need, so this gives people more agency to kind of make the best decision, he says. Now, the scheme is not without its detractors. The organization, this is Reuters reporting, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development argues that providing an unconditional basic income to everyone of working age would do little to combat poverty if not funded by extra taxes. Critics also say it would encourage people to look, critics also say it would encourage people not to look for work. Finland's government has opted not to extend that country's 2-year trial when it ends next December. Some lawmakers and economists had argued the scheme was too expensive and narrow to yield credible conclusions. For 31-year-old Shay Holloman, though, an extra $500 a month would allow her to make ends meet. She was recently released from prison after an 11-year sentence and works a 9-to-5 job at a local nonprofit, then drives for Uber and Lyft in the evenings and on weekends. And she says, I still can't pay all my bills.
Yeah, I'm calling, I don't know what the cost of living there in Stockton, but I'm calling all these people who are complaining about not having the money. They work full day or 3 jobs, more than full time, and they still can't pay the rent. They still can't pay for food. Yeah, what else are you spending your money? What other vices are you spending your money on? I'm calling.
Or what sort of lavish housing are you trying to pay for? Because I always see this thing that will float around the internet every so often saying, there's not a single state where minimum wage pays for a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Who on minimum wage is trying to live in a 2-bedroom house?
Yeah. What year is your Android or your iPhone? What? How big is your flat screen television? How many computers do you need to have in the house? How many game consoles does your kids have?
Not just how new is your cell phone, but how much are you paying on your cell phone bill?
Payment? What about a car payment?
Because I hear a bunch of people say my cell phone bill is like $100 and something. I pay $35 a month.
Yeah, stop. Go get yourself a Walmart prepaid.
Right.
$30 a month.
The criteria for participation in this experiment has not yet been decided, said the mayor, but already he's been receiving letters and emails from residents asking to be considered. Tubbs says he, quote, felt almost a moral responsibility to do something a little bit out of the box for his city of 300,000 east of San Francisco. Well, San Francisco is one of the highest cost of living in the United States, if not the highest.
Right. It's actually cheaper to travel between Las Vegas and San Francisco
than to live in San Francisco. Yeah. He says, I know, for me, I want to live in a community where people's basic needs are met, unquote. Community organizer Trina Turner, a pastor who deals with economically disadvantaged people, hopes the experiment will change the way people see Stockton, which declared bankruptcy in 2012 and has high rates of crime and homelessness. Quote, I think it'll begin to shift the narrative about Stockton. Instead of being the miserable city, will be the city that people are waiting to come to for all of the right reasons. Except that's not the case, because what you're going to get is a line of people who want a handout. Because if the word gets out that if you can move to Stockton and get $500 a month for free, you're going to get the kind of people you don't want to show up in Stockton.
I like money.
Going back to the welfare system of the impoverished that a lot of gentrified towns are suffering here in the country that we were talking about earlier, that's exactly what Keene, that's exactly the problem that they have. Right here, downtown Keene, we have a honeypot. And people find out about it. Other towns, I've heard other towns, actually, they'll tell the impoverished where to go. And sometimes they'll actually bus them here.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Right,
it's
and
true,
I've heard stories that some of the homeless here in Keene, because there's not room in the facilities to actually provide them a bed, they've been told, oh yeah, we can bus you to Claremont or Lebanon. So yeah, the municipalities in New Hampshire
to do that.
And then
government.
We're not turning anybody away.
Right.
They refused our offer.
This is a straight up honeypot that is only attracting a problem. And a lot of these people, I've met some of these young individuals who could go out and get a job, but some of them are fleeing warrants. Mm-hmm. They're fleeing child support. A lot of them are fleeing child support.
Right, and you can't really get a job there because then all of your money winds up being taken on back child support.
There are a couple of them out there who are mentally unwell.
Right.
Who probably couldn't hold a stop slow sign working for the road company. But no, a lot of them, they just don't want to work, and they know that they can get away with it. They're out there camping. They're having the time of their life.
There's a guy standing
and they got food every night, and they've got a place to sleep when it's cold.
Yep. There's a guy who stands out on the side of the road, or more than one guy, who is a panhandler out, and I talked to him the other day because I was sitting right next to him.
Yeah, I steal their milk crates when they're not there. Friggin' eyesore. I will. Well, and I'll use them.
Well, they're abandoned property, right? If
it has someone's name on it, I might not take it. But
really?
I mean, if it's some unknown or it's a blank crate, I take them. I'll use them. I'll put stuff in. And that prevents them from being able to sit out there. Now they got to stand. Go ahead. What about him?
Yeah, and he was claiming, I said, well, what's your story? Yeah, because I wasn't going to give him any money, but I didn't want to sit there and ignore him. I wanted to talk to him, and he said that he just can't work. He used to work construction. His back's all torn up, but there he is standing there all day. He says, I can barely do this.
He's standing now that I took his milk crate.
I can't stand for long hours.
And you work.
But you work.
Yeah. Right, but I also run half marathons, but if I stand still my back cramps up.
Mine too.
Well, what are you standing? If you're standing on hard pavement, you got to get you some of that soft foam stuff.
Anywhere, man. You stand still for 8 hours, it's going to hurt.
Back cramps up.
Yeah.
Man, I put mail in a box for 3 to 4 hours standing in the same area. I don't know how I do it.
There's more coming up here. 855, 450, free like freedom. Join us on the radio here. McAfee's running for president again. We'll tell you more.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original, most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Get the ultimate knife at an ultimate price. The Fox Karambit knife. Finally available in the U.S. The Fox Karambit knife opens with one hand, faster than you can pull a handgun. For utility, for defense, and for way less than other knives of this caliber. Go to theultimateknife.com. Truly the best knife you will ever own, and only available at theultimateknife.com. Use promo code radio at checkout for free shipping. Get the ultimate knife at the ultimate price at theultimateknife.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want. That's the point of the program, though. We always bring stuff to the table to talk about. The we in the studio tonight includes me, Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
And don't forget, you can join us online. Just head on over to freetalklive.com and enjoy the features we got waiting for you. You can get on board with our email list. You just go to freetalklive.com. You'll find the email sign-up box right there toward the top in the front page on the website. And also want to let you know about Bitcoin.com. You want to get the basic information about what Bitcoin is, the original, that which created all of these other alternatives and competitors. Bitcoin.com's got some of that info, and it'll get you started there. That's Bitcoin.com. Plus, they got a way for you to buy Bitcoin. You can get Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin Cash. You can also jump into their Bitcoin mining pools for either Bitcoin Core or Cash. It's your choice over at Bitcoin.com. So head over there, and then there's also news headlines and more. There's so many different features at Bitcoin.com. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, let's go to Tom in New Hampshire. Congress, that's what you're calling about. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Ian and I are the only two libertarian candidates listed on the New Hampshire Secretary of State's website.
Right, and I know for a fact there have been at least 2, if not 3 or 4 people file for state rep as libertarians that for some reason have not been added to that list of candidates.
So hold on, let's clarify something here. New Hampshire, for certain state for the state reps, you have to register at your local town city clerk, whereas at the state senate or U.S. Congress or governor, the larger offices, you have to actually physically go to Concord and register at the Secretary of State's office. So I imagine it might take a little while longer to get information from the local offices.
The municipal clerks are supposed to shoot an email at the end of every business day.
Right.
But again, that's at the end of the business day.
That doesn't mean the bureaucrats are going to get up the information by the end of the day.
Right. So they're posting in Concord, they're posting a form at the end of the day, so they're not necessarily compiling stuff.
There might be a one-day, extra time window for the people filing state rep. Because Daryl, you filed for state rep.
Yes.
Today and
this morning, I was the first candidate to file in Keene.
Yeah.
And my son filed as a libertarian candidate for state rep here in Hudson, New Hampshire, and he would, if he wins, he would join State Representative Caleb Dyer in Hillsborough County District 37. Caleb Dyer is, of course, a libertarian state representative.
Caleb made history for listeners who are not familiar, because we generally don't talk about, in detail state politics here. Right. But Caleb was worth talking about nationally because he made national libertarian history by becoming the first political elected candidate in 20 years in New Hampshire to actually become a libertarian while in office. So he did not get elected as a libertarian.
Correct.
He was elected as a Republican, and then after he was elected, decided he was sick and tired of the Republican establishment trying to force the Republicans to vote in certain ways and put political pressure on them. And he said he'd had enough, and he joined the Libertarian Party. And he's always really been a libertarian.
Right.
But he ran as a Republican because the fact is it's probably easier to get elected as a Republican or Democrat in most places. But to his credit, he's going to go it again. He's going to go for re-election, and he's going to run as a libertarian this time. And so I sure hope he can make it back in.
I think he's got a shot.
Well, he made it in last place out of like 11 candidates. It's a huge district that he runs in.
They elect 11 state reps in that district. The Democrats never filled an entire slate of candidates in that district.
Because they lose.
So if he's able to get support from Democrats in that district, he's got a shot at winning.
He does. I think it's going to be interesting. I hope that he can get reelected. He's been great. I mean, he's really been a great state representative. He's now, I believe, vice chair, membership or something like that of the Libertarian Party here in New Hampshire. He took some kind of leadership role.
I forget what he was. Secretary. He got elected as secretary.
All right, Tom. So you're running for U.S. Congress?
In the 2nd District, which includes Keene and it includes Nashua. And the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's website lists a couple of other people who have announced, but I guess they didn't file today because they have until Friday of next week.
Now, this is also something worth pointing out here. Along with Caleb being like the first to flip in 2016, because I'm going to say it's largely because of the frustration that people had with the national Republicans and Democrats. The Libertarian candidate for governor, who really wasn't much of a Libertarian in New Hampshire that year, Max Abramson, who has called this show before, he got more than 4% of the vote.
Correct.
And so that qualified the Libertarian Party, again, for the first time in 2 decades, for full ballot access at the same level of the Republicans and the Democrats, which means you don't have to...
Unfortunately, that means that we are forced to have a primary, which means that non-libertarians can have some kind of influence over who the Libertarian candidate is.
If they choose to vote in the Libertarian primary.
And they have to already be registered as libertarians as of yesterday.
Or undeclared, and then snag a ballot. And there are 40% of voters in New Hampshire are registered as undeclared.
Right, but because New Hampshire is a more independent state, people here aren't as enamored with the Republicans and Democrats, and you can tell by the fact that people aren't registered to vote as Republican and Democrats. The plurality of them are registered as what they call undeclared.
Right.
And in New Hampshire, for those that aren't familiar, that means that you can walk in on primary day and you can declare as whichever party you want to vote in their primary, and then you get a ballot for that primary, and then on the way out you can undeclare once again. And go back to that.
In 2006, I waited until the last day, and that afternoon I took a spin up to Concord and filed as a Republican for state senator because there was no Republican running for state senator, and the Republican Party big shots took a look at that. Oh, no, it's the guy who supports liberty and thinks logically, and he's like the only one running. We got to find somebody to run against him. How much time do we have? Too late, because I filed the afternoon just before that. They got a guy to run as a write-in candidate. He won the nomination, by the way, but he had to go around campaigning. I mean, they hit the ceiling, and it was a low turnout, and a lot of people switched over to Republican to run in.
So, Tom, usually as a political candidate, you got like 2 or 3 top issues. What are your issues going to be as the U.S. Congress candidate in the primary for the Libertarian? Because I suspect you're going to have a primary challenger.
Right. The party has already endorsed Justin O'Donnell, who is actually a dues-paying member of the party.
Liberty and justice for all. Those are 2 of my issues, liberty and justice. And the other one is to secure the blessings of the metric system to ourselves and our posterity.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Now, what you were saying there is that this guy, Tom, is actually, to your knowledge, not a party member. He's just registered as a libertarian.
He is not a party member, or at least not of the state party, and that membership was actually revoked back in the 90s because some of his positions violate both the platform and the statement of principles of the party.
What's wrong with the metric system, Daryl?
We happen to know from his calls to this show that Tom is a homophobe. I don't know if that violates the platform, but we do support gay marriage.
Right. We also oppose bigotry, and he has also, when he was a Republican state rep back in the year 2000, 2001, he had to resign because of statements that could basically be construed as advocating killing police officers.
Which he's called this show.
Libertarians oppose violence.
Well, not oppose defensive violence. And
the initiation of...
And many libertarians will make the argument, including one of our co-hosts on Monday evening, that the police are always initiating violence, and so therefore it's fully within a libertarian viewpoint to use violence against the police. Now, I don't agree with that viewpoint, but it's not unheard of, and it's not either... Also, it's not uncommon within the libertarian sphere.
Unfortunately, it's not uncommon, but I would say that it definitely violates the statement of principles of the party.
Self-defense is self-defense.
The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Yeah, but Conan, is it self-defense to walk up to a cop on the street and put a bullet in his head if he hasn't actually done anything to you at that point?
Or if somebody stole your tricycle 30 years ago, can you kill them? Is that self-defense?
There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
We call it the crapper, water closet, outhouse, or bathroom. But where do you go when there's nowhere to go? The answer is the Biffy Bag. The Biffy Bag is a pocket-sized disposable toilet that fits in your glove box, tackle box, toolbox, backpack, or purse. The Biffy Bag has everything you need for a sanitary and comfortable relief experience. It's ready to use in just seconds, and just toss it in the trash when you're done. It's your Biffy in a jiffy. BiffyBag.com. BiffyBag.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free here. Coming up, John McAfee. He is back making headlines. I mean, when is he not making headlines? This time he's running for political office again. He's thrown in his hat into the 2020 presidential election, and apparently he's announced his own cryptocurrency as well. We'll tell you about that on the way here. It's Ian Conan and Daryl in the studio, but I also want to make sure you know about freetalklive.com, where you can get behind the show for just $5 a month via our AMP program, ampamp.freetalklive.com. That's where you can go to get signed up, and it's $5 a month that we invest into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board with the show, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. If you value what we do and you think it's worth, the price of a fancy cup of coffee or a cheeseburger or whatever every single month, then help us out. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can sign up with PayPal. You can use credit card. You can use Bitcoin Core. It's up to you. And you get some cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only chat rooms on the Discord, and more. Head over to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up there. As we go to Robert. He's in Bellows Falls, Vermont. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Ian, you and Daryl were talking about the story out of California and with Facebook and, them doing this kind of honor system with paying people out monthly with money. Mm-hmm. And when I heard you, it sounded like you were unsure of whether or not how how accurate this is going to be, or how honest that this was going to be. And these, I don't know. I guess you can assume it's going to be called a program, but these programs of giving out free money is not unusual at all. Case in point, Governor Phil Scott over here, he's the first 1,000 people that moved to Vermont, they're going to hand out thousands and thousands of dollars.
All right, hold on. I've read about this program. So it's not just the first 1,000 people to say, I live in Vermont now.
Yeah, they won't have
there
that,
are
they won't
very
have that accent.
specific things that have to be done, and the money can only be used to wind up buying equipment used for basically telecommuting. So it's people that can work from home, and then the money up to $10,000 will be able to be used for buying computers and electronics and stuff to allow them to work from Vermont.
So cam girls, they can now come and get new computers and start their cam careers.
What about cam boys, Ian?
I guess, yeah, that's probably a thing too. There's also IT professionals, phone sex operators. Who else works from home?
Website designers,
Amazon merchants,
radio hosts.
I want to get so I need to move to Vermont to get some of this money.
Radio hosts.
No, Conan, you don't have to move to Vermont to get some of this money.
Really?
You can get some of this money right over here in the state of New Hampshire.
How?
Well, I mean, if you go to Craigslist and you go into where the little search bar is there, type in focus group. Do it in any state throughout the United States. And these focus groups, what you do is you send them an email.
Yeah.
And then they set up an appointment, and you go to this group for like a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe, and when you're done, they pay you in cash.
And what are they doing? Are they asking you about like some new product idea and getting your opinion on it? What do they do?
And it's not a pyramid scheme where they're trying to get me to sell to my buddies?
No. It's like you might go for a couple of 2-3 hours. It might be, a lawyer will rent out a room somewhere. They want to, see what kind of response they'll get to a case or something like that, as opposed to spending.
Sometimes they'll do stuff with like TV show pilots before they wind up running it. Mm-hmm. Hey, we had really good reception with the focus groups we tested this in front of. And I have signed up for a few different emails to where I'll do surveys, 10-minute survey, and get some points. And once I get a certain number of points, I get an Amazon gift card. And I've actually gotten like 3 or 4 of them. I did a thing for Coinbase a while back where it was like a 20-minute phone interview, and I wound up getting a $100 Visa gift card.
Did you tell them they suck and they gave you $100?
No, it was when they were launching their new commerce thing.
Okay.
Because I have been a merchant through Coinbase for a while, and they had launched this new thing, and they're so how does this compare to what the previous thing was? Are there things that we had on the old thing that we don't have on the new thing? Is it easy to use? Are there features that you would like us to wind up implementing? So it wasn't, so do you like the fact that we wound up giving info to the IRS? It wasn't any of that. It was, what do you think about the functionality of this new feature?
All right, here's the first one I found in New Hampshire. All of New Hampshire.
Focus group?
It's a focus group. It's a jury research project.
Yeah, really?
It's in Manchester, but it was posted almost a month ago. That's the first one I've seen.
Huh. Do they want to talk to jurors?
And then
it's only $50 in lunch.
Okay.
The biggest one that I saw that came out of Massachusetts was I think it was like over $12,000. But you had to be a part of this seminar for like a month or something.
Oh, wow.
But, so if you're down on your luck, Conan, with money, you can always sign up for a focus group.
There you go.
I'm doing
Robert,
just fine.
Thanks for the recommendation. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. John McAfee, certainly a man who doesn't need to sign up for any focus groups.
He's just having a good old time.
Yeah, he doesn't care what you think about him, which is one of the things I love about John McAfee. He is just somebody who he is truly himself,
living his dream,
living what he wants to live, and just does whatever the heck he wants to do.
Now, are they making a movie of him?
Probably. I don't know though.
And Johnny Depp was.
But didn't McAfee actually ask that Morgan sparkly-faced Freeman would
right? And he said, and I believe there was some profanity in the original comment, so I will paraphrase. He said something along the lines of, "He doesn't have to look like me; he just has to be able to act like me."
John McAfee, according to Cointelegraph.com, the founder of McAfee Antivirus Software, by the way, he doesn't run that anymore, and now prominent crypto enthusiast, announced his bid this week to run for U.S. president in 2020 as a way to serve the crypto community. According to his Twitter account, quote, "In spite of past refusals, I've decided to run again for POTUS in 2020. If asked again by the Libertarian Party, I will run with them. If not, I will create my own party. I believe this will best serve the crypto community by providing the ultimate campaign platform for us." According to, that's the end of his quote there. Will be McAfee's second run for president after he's lost his first bid in 2016 to former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson to be the candidate for the Libertarian Party. Now, Daryl, you were one of the candidates in that nominating process. You have shared a stage on more than one occasion with John McAfee. Did he ever share any of his LSD with you? Because I know he was talking about he had teased that he should dose up this guy named Austin Peterson, who is this right-wing conservative.
He still is a right-wing conservative.
Yeah, he decided to run as a Libertarian Party. So you had these right-winger types like Gary Johnson and this Austin Peterson guy running in a race against you, Daryl, and John McAfee. And you and McAfee were the two best choices, obviously. You the most principled choice, McAfee the most entertaining choice.
And didn't he even say that on stage, or was that behind stage when he said that, I'm never going to be as principled as this guy right here? And he was
I don't recall that.
Referring to you, Daryl W. Perry.
I think Johnson also said something that referenced that as well
Johnson,
during one
co-host?
of the... Gary Johnson. Okay. Peterson is now running for U.S. Senate in Missouri as a Republican, and he's going to lose handily in the primary happening in about 2 months.
Yeah, who cares about that guy? So anyway, Gary Johnson's not coming back this time around, but rumor has it his vice presidential candidate, the even worse in my mind, Bill Weld, who is a former... So Johnson was a former governor of New Mexico.
Yes.
And Weld is a former governor of Massachusetts. As soon as I heard he was a former governor of Massachusetts, I already knew this guy's bad news.
Right.
I mean, Massachusetts.
And then he joined the party about 2 weeks before the nominating convention. When asked if he had read the platform, he said, quote, "I've looked at it. There's some good stuff in there." I could say that about any political party's platform. Right. It could only be
the Green Party wants to legalize it.
I like the fact that the Democratic Party wound up using the Oxford comma.
That's good stuff.
It could be, I like that this party justified the text in their platform. Now, there are things in the Green Party platform that I agree with.
Sure. Legalize weed.
Yeah.
No, I don't have time.
Yeah,
there aren't any typos in the Constitution Party platform. I like not having typos.
And that's the kind of political answer you'd expect from somebody like Bill Weld. And so rumor has it he's planning to come in and throw in his hat into the presidential race.
Please don't.
And Daryl, let's analyze McAfee's chances, because you said he doesn't have good chances off the air. Let's talk about it coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
It's a very confusing time in the financial markets, and nobody knows that better than financial markets analyst Doug Casey. Casey Research wants to send you a free copy of Doug's controversial new book about the stock market, our economy, and American politics. Warning, this book is not politically correct. Casey is known for his outspoken and brutally honest views. He once called global warming a political scam. He's made millions betting on investments seen as too controversial by the mainstream. In this new book, Casey reveals shocking predictions about hot issues like immigration, Russia, and the next stock superboom. Doug Casey is an investing legend. Find out where he's looking for gains in spaces like tech, even cryptocurrencies. But watch out, this book is simply too controversial for bookstores. Go to totallyincorrectoffer.com to get your free copy so you can see for yourself. Shipping and handling charges apply. But be warned, this material may be taken down at any time. Just go to totallyincorrectoffer.com. That's www.totallyincorrectoffer.com. totallyincorrectoffer.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,296 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,609. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. Treasury Department on Tuesday issued a statement directed at allied governments and private companies operating out of allied countries, warning them against trade with Iran, warning they face substantial risk if they are caught. The Undersecretary of the Treasury said that the world must harden their financial networks and make sure they have airtight procedures in place to prevent even accidental business ties to Iran. He added that nations must ensure that Iran and its proxies are not exploiting your companies to support their nefarious activities. Though presented as a warning about being tricked by Iran, the warning is likely primarily directed at EU nations, as the EU has already decided to prohibit its companies complying with U.S. sanctions on Iran. The European Union is planning to try to block the U.S. from punishing those companies, but many of the major businesses are being very cautious about new deals with Iran, fearing the U.S. will go after them anyhow. U.S. sanctions against Iran's nuclear program are expected to ratchet up in the next several months after President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the nuclear deal. Yet the deal remains in place, and many nations may not be willing to follow the U.S. in this crackdown so long as Iran remains compliant. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals on Tuesday stayed the execution of a man convicted of murdering a 93-year-old woman so his mental capacity can be reviewed. Clifton Lamar Williams was scheduled to be executed on June 21st, but his lawyers argued he is intellectually disabled and therefore ineligible to be executed. Williams, who has an IQ in the mid-60s, broke into Cecilia Snyder's home during a robbery in 2005, killed her, burned her body, and fled in a car, according to court records. On Tuesday, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals decided to send Williams' case to a lower court for a hearing to consider his mental capacity. The court wrote, "We remand this application to the convicting court for a live hearing to further develop evidence and make a new recommendation to the court on the issue of his intellectual disability." Prior attempts to have Williams' execution stayed were denied, but Texas has since reevaluated how it determines intellectual disability for death row inmates. The change came after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Texas's method for determining intellectual disability used outdated medical standards in the case of another death row inmate, Bobby Moore. Since the change, the sentence of 2 men on Texas's death row have been commuted to life in prison based on claims of intellectual disability. The execution of Williams was the first to be stopped by the court in 2018. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Reuters reports a former contestant on Donald Trump's reality TV show, The Apprentice, may pursue her defamation lawsuit against the president, according to a New York judge's ruling on Tuesday, despite Trump's efforts to have an appeals court put it on hold. Summer Zervos has claimed that Trump sexually harassed her and defamed her when he denied her allegations. Trump has argued that as a sitting president, he is immune from the lawsuit and is seeking an order from New York's highest court to freeze the case. The lawsuit could lead to Trump being questioned under oath and draw further attention to accusations of sexual misconduct against the president by more than a dozen women. Trump has denied the claims. At a hearing on Tuesday, Trump's lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, argued unsuccessfully before Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Jennifer Schechter that Zervos' lawsuit should not go forward until the New York Court of Appeals and, if necessary, the U.S. Supreme Court decide the issue. Zervos accused Trump of subjecting her to unwanted kissing and groping after she sought career advice in 2007. She came forward during the 2016 presidential campaign, and Trump called her allegations lies. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. A crazy man announces plans to stand in a doorway and yell at cars. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Dennis Fife, an Alhambra, California crazy man, held a press conference today to announce his intention to stand in the doorway of the office building at 2600 Kenilworth Avenue and yell at cars all day.
At approximately 9:30 a.m. on the day in question, shortly after I finish lunging at dogs, I will proceed to the front steps of the Simmons building and yell loudly for 9 hours. The screaming will be broken by a 15-minute fit of rigid catatonia, most likely in the late afternoon.
Among the topics Fife plans to address during his 9-hour rant, the ace of diamonds, bookshelves, the man trying to kill him, plastic bags in trees, Trapper John M.D., and papers everywhere. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the program. You're invited, as always, to join us here on the radio and take control of the airwaves at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian
and Conan
and Daryl.
Kicking off this hour with the news about John McAfee. He is once again making headlines announcing his candidacy for president. Of course, if you've been listening to Free Talk Live for a while, you know he ran in 2016 and attempted to secure the nomination of the Libertarian Party. He appeared with you.
After he initially said he was going to create the Cyber Party, and then I've heard conflicting reports. I've heard that he found out how difficult ballot access was and then decided to jump into the Libertarian race.
Right.
And I've also heard that he was approached by some members of the Libertarian Party asking him to jump into the Libertarian race.
Because the Libertarians...
And those two things could have happened
at the same time,
simultaneously.
Well, the Libertarians are pretty good about getting ballot access. They've gotten the supermajority of the states on, their candidates on those ballots over the last several decades or a few decades.
Right.
And so McAfee did not, unfortunately, make it. He was not nominated in favor of the former Republican, Gary Johnson, who, of course, really just did a terrible job communicating any ideas of liberty during his campaign.
Right, and I know a lot of people give Gary a hard time about the Aleppo thing.
What's
Aleppo?
That's the least offensive thing.
Right, that's not the most offensive thing that happened. The thing where he stuck his tongue out of his mouth and attempted to say a sentence along the lines of, I could bite my tongue for the rest of the campaign and still something on live television, and then the reporter just staring at him with a blank face of, what in the hell are you doing?
Well, look, I mean, to me...
But didn't Trump say he can walk down New York and shoot somebody and still get elected? Isn't that kind of the same thing?
Look, what you're talking about with Gary Johnson was, the dude's a little weird. Okay, whatever. People make mistakes. They get nervous on television. That's all forgivable in my book. The problem with Gary Johnson is he did not communicate the ideas of liberty, which is what the Libertarian Party is supposed to be there for. Now, this has been one of the arguments that has sort of torn apart the Libertarian Party over the years, is there's a group of these pragmatist types who are like, well, we need to get elected, so we need to water down the message.
Right, but we knew that Gary wasn't the best advocate for the ideas of liberty.
Yeah, we know that, but the people that they still voted for him at the nominating convention.
There are people that were at the convention that voted for Gary Johnson that admitted he was not the best communicator of the ideas of liberty, but he's a former governor, so therefore he can wind up getting over 5% to get us a welfare check from the federal government in 4 years.
Yeah, so these are the people who, again, they're playing politics. They're interested in winning, which, of course, look, Gary Johnson didn't win. He didn't even come close to winning. Now, he did get more votes than any previous Libertarian presidential candidate, but a monkey shouting, and throwing its own poop would have been able to get a bunch of votes versus Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
The Green Party candidate, Jill Stein, also tripled her vote total from 4 years prior. The Constitution Party candidate tripled their vote total from 4 years prior.
So it wasn't because Gary was a good candidate or an effective communicator or anything. It was the frustration that Americans had with the two-party system and their choices. So nobody was endorsing Gary Johnson with their votes, with the exception of these people that got excited by him, which, they're the ones who are in control of the Libertarian Party. These political animals that are just interested in putting the most milquetoast person up there, somebody who looks good in a suit or whatever, somebody who's got a political background like a Gary Johnson or a Bill Weld, in the hopes that, like you said, they'll reach some sort of arbitrary vote total and then they'll be able to pat themselves on the back. Whereas when I was getting involved in the Libertarian Party, my understanding was that it was founded to spread the ideas of liberty, which are very simple. They're not hard to communicate. We do it nightly here on Free Talk Live. We communicate the idea, the non-aggression principle, that it's not okay to use aggressive force to force your neighbor to do things against their will. Basically.
But how are you ever going to get things done, Ian, if you can't force your
Good
neighbors?
ideas don't require force.
Voluntary solutions. And these are things that good libertarian candidates are out there promoting. They get on the stage like Harry Browne. In the year 1996 and 2000, I'm a Harry Browne libertarian. He's the guy that brought me into the Libertarian Party. He's the guy that brought me his message, which was very principled, very easy to understand, very well communicated. Harry Browne was a great communicator, and he would talk about how anytime you're in a news interview, no matter what question they ask you, you can always tie it back around into your main message of liberty and, expressing to people what the non-aggression principle is.
What kind of libertarian are you, Ian?
A Harry Browne libertarian.
That sounds so funny.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Could be adjectives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Ha. Ha. Ha.
But yeah, great communicator. He's no longer with us. He's been dead now for, I think, more than a decade at this point.
Yes.
But left us with some great books that do a great job of explaining, why liberty works and why government coercion does not work and has unintended consequences.
I'll tell
Gary
you,
Johnson did none of that. None of it.
If I could wind up, hand selecting my preferred candidate for 2020, it would be Mary Ruwart.
She is great, and she did run a few years back. I think it was 2008.
2008. She also ran in 1984. I asked her at the Omaha Unconvention that I was at a couple of weeks ago if she would run, and she basically said no.
Yeah. So this time around, McAfee's back in the running.
Good.
That's good. Adam Kokesh, a longtime guest here on Free Talk Live, also a good communicator of the ideas of liberty. He's a talker, man. Adam Kokesh, we can just set him behind a microphone and walk away, and he'll just take care of hosting a show for 3 hours straight, nonstop. So I think he's actually a pretty good option for
the problem is he's running for not president, and he's already not the president, so therefore he's won.
Right. So it will be interesting to see Adam Kokesh get up there on stage with John McAfee.
Assuming that he doesn't keep firing his entire campaign staff every couple of months.
So there's some drama behind the scenes there.
He's over the last 2 years, he's had 5 different campaign managers, I think.
Yikes. So, and then, of course, Bill Weld, I don't know if he's officially announced, not a good candidate,
He's not officially announced, but he does have some kind of website for Weld America Together. which is just a completely horrible pun.
Ian, you said something off air that I think would work. It just sounds wonderful. The McAfee Supreme.
Yeah. Well, Daryl, you were reading the Vermin Supreme campaign announcement,
yes,
which is almost word for word the McAfee campaign announcement.
Except he mentions ponies instead of cryptocurrencies. But otherwise, it's the same tweet.
Which is hilarious.
Can't we have both? Crypto and ponies?
We can. If McAfee gets the presidential nod and Vermin gets the vice presidential nod, we could have two of the best trolls on the internet running for the Libertarian nomination, possibly getting it.
Did Vermin mention anything about toothpaste? Because my dental health is very important to me.
But Vermin is always somebody who runs for president, so it's going to be hard for him to step down and go for vice president.
Right now, he's running for attorney general in Kansas.
True, but it's an off year.
Right.
Yeah.
He doesn't live in Kansas. He's never lived in Kansas, but Kansas does not have any residency requirement to run for political office.
And didn't you say the Republicans are trying to get him off the ballot now because he ran as a Republican?
Yeah, he filed as a Republican. They're trying to kick him off because they claim that some form somewhere said something about living in Kansas, but the form that I saw didn't mention him living in Kansas.
So McAfee's back. According to Cointelegraph, it'll be his second run after he again lost in 2016 in the Libertarian primary at the nomination convention. McAfee mentioned his past failed bid by noting yesterday that, quote, if he had been more connected with the community in 2016, he would have been better able to publicize the idea of currency independence, which he notes is already on every American's lips. McAfee's tweet about his 2020 run has now garnered over 600 comments, with McAfee responding to most of them with either a thank you or a smiley face. One token platform has apparently already donated the equivalent of $390.85 to the campaign. The future presidential candidate tweeted again about the run, noting that although he doesn't actually think he has a chance of winning, that the bid will give him a platform to tell the truth. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE like freedom, and apparently he's going to launch his own cryptocurrency. Coming up.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful. Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, Is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll free here. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, Ian here.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Don't forget, we've also got Skype, where you can Skype in at username LRN.FM, and then also the Discord on-air call-in line room is available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Coming up here, we've got a story, Daryl, you want to share about a tank theft. Somebody stole a tank and then tweeted themselves live or something like that from while they were within the tank. We'll tell you more about what happened there. And, of course, you can bring up anything. Although we were still talking about John McAfee. And, Conan, did you have the story about him launching his own cryptocurrency? Or was that you, Daryl? One of y'all.
I've got that.
So we'll talk about that coming up here, too. Speaking of cryptocurrency, Zencash has been in the news this week. If you missed our show last night and you'd heard about the 51% attack news about Zencash, which is one of the reasons why the price is down significantly over the past few days, you really need to listen to last night's first hour. Just go to freetalklive.com. You can download the archive there from the top of the page on our archive player thing. And we interviewed Rob Viglione who's one of the founders of Zencash, and he really did a great job of explaining exactly what happened and why it really wasn't as near as bad as some people might think that it is, and that they're actually working to solve the 51% attack problem in the future. And there's some really cool stuff on the horizon for Zencash. If you aren't familiar with Zencash, now's a great time to go and take a look. I've actually taken some of the Church Ethereum and shifted it into Zencash because I was really impressed with what Rob had to say last night. Zencash.com is where you can go to learn more about it. It was created by voluntarists, by people who actually understand liberty and economics, and so you've got that philosophical basis that just doesn't exist with a lot of other cryptocurrencies. And then also they use some of the best technology out there, like the zero-knowledge anonymity. So you want to do private transactions, Zencash has that. And they're working on decentralized autonomous organizations to govern the currency. They've got the secure nodes, which they have now over 11,000. They're coming up on 12,000 secure nodes. They're right now the number 2, according to Rob last night. They are number 2 in the world as far as node count is concerned.
Nice.
The only crypto with more nodes is Ethereum. And so,
is that because of all the tokens that require some kind of something?
No, it's just popular. Ethereum's a popular currency.
Okay.
So anyway, they've got a lot of support, and they got some cool plans on the horizon, including increasing the amount of money that they're going to be paying out, the amount of Zen, the Zencash that goes to the secure nodes. It was only like 3%. It's now going up to 10%.
Plus, they're going to be rolling out something called super nodes.
Correct. So there's some cool stuff on the horizon over there, and it sounds like they're really gearing up for some neat stuff. Go to Zencash.com, and again, if you missed last night's show and you want to learn a lot about Zencash, that first hour from last night, which is the Tuesday episode of Free Talk Live from the 5th of this month.
And are you going to pull that out and put it on like the guest page? Or
I haven't gotten around to that yet, so I had not planned necessarily on doing that, but I could, I suppose.
And I didn't know if on some of those guest page interviews, if you just pulled out like
if it's the first interview, I just put the whole show up there. So
I would say that probably should be on that guest page.
Yeah, sure. Not a bad idea. So Zencash.com, you can go there and learn a lot more about Zencash. As we continue here, John McAfee, speaking of cryptocurrencies, he's launching his own paper-based crypto or paper-represented?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused about this as well, so hopefully the story here from Crypto News winds up shedding some light here. Headline, and yes, I am going to read the headline before getting into the story. Headline, McAfee coin, elaborate hoax or a stroke of Don Quixote genius? Update. In an interesting development, John McAfee has replied to our story, confirming that it's not a hoax.
Wait, hold on. I got to stop you, Daryl. Was Don Quixote ever considered a genius?
He was crazy.
Because he was crazy.
I don't know. I never met the donkey.
He was tilting at windmills.
Completely off his rocker, crazy. I don't think he ever did a genius move in the whole book.
I don't know. I never read the book.
All right. Well,
I've also never met a donkey named Hoti.
It's hard to read.
No.
Update. In an interesting development, John McAfee has replied to our story, confirming it's not a hoax, along with a picture of what looks like the various denominations he is going to roll out. Read the complete update at the end of the article. So, not a hoax.
Okay. All right.
Last night, John McAfee, and this story from yesterday, so 2 nights ago now, I believe, John McAfee, the official mouthpiece of the We Love Making Outlandish Statements Club, dropped a pretty big bomb on the unsuspecting crypto community. It all started with a little-known cryptocurrency exchange, SmartPay Mint spelled M-I-N-T, posted a photo of a fiat currency with McAfee's face on it. As far as we know, it was an artist representation of a probable currency of what it would look like with McAfee's face. To bring a little context, SmartPay Mint has been consistently supporting McAfee's War on Crypto campaign. Readers may recall last week McAfee posted a video declaring that bankers and other government institutions such as the SEC, among others, are declaring war on cryptocurrencies by introducing stringent reforms. To that effect, there is also an official website called Currency Independent to take this agenda ahead. McAfee has personally poured his own money, which is around $30,000, to ensure that the campaign is a success. The declaration is available in different languages such as English, Dutch, Spanish, French, German, Japanese, Korean, and others. Coming back to the story, McAfee said, or posted on Twitter rather, at SmartPay Mint sent this. What's odd is that tomorrow night I'm going to make an announcement of the new McAfee coin based on a radical new concept. Fiat currencies, collectible, backed by crypto. The reverse of what banks are attempting. Seriously.
Fiat currencies backed by crypto.
Yes, I think what he means is paper currency, and paper currency by definition is not necessarily fiat.
But I mean, they're just they're just paper units.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they may have a 1 on them, but they don't necessarily represent like one. He's calling them McAfee redemption units.
Right, and the word fiat technically means by decree.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the government
and generally it refers to government printed currency that is not backed by a commodity. Of this was by decree declared to be money.
Yeah, I'm thinking that these are just going to be collector items.
He says they're collector's items.
There you go. So, but if you're actually going to use your McAfee redemption units, you're going to be using them just like you would any other cryptocurrency, and these are just for for show to have on your wall.
So are pieces of art. If you go to an art store and you buy a piece of art,
and guess what?
It's a collectible.
Yeah, and guess what? People invest
value.
People invest in collectibles and art often, coins, stamps, paintings.
Right, so this would be a piece of art that you could carry around in your wallet.
And you can still use your McAfee redemption units to buy something on Amazon. Maybe.
I don't think Amazon will ever wind up accepting anything.
Or get FaceTime, 100 minutes of FaceTime with Mac. Does it talk about that in this article?
I don't know. I've not read the entire thing. Continuing on, the author says...
supposedly it's exchangeable for a meeting with McAfee.
Yeah.
While he's still alive.
There's more to this article.
Yeah, I want to hear more about it. I've got the tweet that he sent here. I'm going to post that on our Free Talk Live forum in the show prep thread for tonight.
Yeah, I don't know why his face isn't on all of them. Why does he bring these other cats in?
I think it's just to make people mad.
They're all humans. None of them are cats.
He put Roger Ver on there, which is just going to make people mad because some people really hate Roger Ver. Of course, I like him. It's Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
There's been all kinds of immigrants coming from all kinds of places, living in little enclaves, speaking their native tongue. Their kids, they learn English, and then their kids, they don't even know their native tongue.
Right.
So
see,
Trish,
what he's explaining to you, Trish, is that this is a natural process. When you let people come here, they naturally want to learn English.
What kind of lawbreaking to put our lives in danger?
Wait, what lawbreaking are you talking about, Trish?
Sir, do you understand?
What lawbreaking are you referring to,
Trish? People can't
Trish?
leave their dogs out because these people will eat them.
You are outrageous.
We forgot the part. It was just lepers, and now it's murdering, raping, dog-eating lepers.
Amazing. I mean, what else can you say to this?
It's just
this is outrageous.
Trish, you are putting the J in jingoist.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live here. You can join us, and the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, and the Skype username is LRN.FM, so feel free to join us there, or the Discord at discord.lrn.fm, where you can join the Discord on-air call-in line room. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Daryl.
Liberty.menu. If you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you qualify to use Liberty.menu. It's a libertarian business directory, and it also has categories for other things like events and digital content creators. So if you are in the Liberty world and you want more people who understand Liberty to come to your business, this is where you need to be. In fact, there's no reason not to be there because it's free to use it. Now, you can pay for some upgrades if you want. Those are available, but the basic usage of the site is free for you. So head on over there and start adding your stuff that you do to Liberty.menu, because it's still a relatively new site. It's only been around for about a year, and Free Talk Live just partnered up with them just a few months ago. So glad to finally have a libertarian business directory worth talking about. There have been some lackluster attempts in the past. This one works, it works well, and it looks good while doing it. So head on over there at Liberty.menu and get interactive. Start loading up the things that you do so people can find you and maybe bring you some new business over at Liberty.menu. As we continue here, we're talking about the John McAfee bucks. They're calling them, the redemption units?
The McAfee Redemption Unit.
Yeah, he posted a tweet which shows the proposed graphics for these things. And there's the 1, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50. And you've got, most of them are pictures of John McAfee. One of them with a bunch of prostitutes with the classic picture with McAfee with cocaine
You're
on his nose.
You're assuming that they're prostitutes?
Okay, they could be hired models pretending to be prostitutes. But either way, or maybe they're his wives. I don't know, what his circumstances are. He's an interesting character, and he lives life the way he wants to.
I'm just curious if any of those women pooped in his mouth.
You can't really talk about that on the radio, so we're just going to move on. But anyway, yeah, McAfee, interesting character, launching his own cryptocurrency. Let's see here. They're calling them the redemption units, and then on the back side of them, it actually says, please appear at the redemption office between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. at... and then it gives a Mexican address in Puerto Vallarta. It says, present your certificate. The Redemption Center will verify its authenticity and provide you with a date, time, and location in the United States where Mr. McAfee will meet with you for the allotted time. So he's backing this cryptocurrency, which is also being called fiat for some reason. I guess it's fiat because a lot of cryptocurrencies are fiat in that they were just issued from thin air.
Right.
He's actually backing this with the ability to meet physically in meat space.
So it's going to be a paper currency somehow tied to a cryptocurrency that is backed by FaceTime with John McAfee.
Yeah, it's only redeemable via meeting with the man.
So
and by the way, he's talking about 6 million units. Each one of those units is 1 minute. So there's no way he's going to be able to be... These notes will never be completely redeemable.
All of them, yeah, because he's 72 years old right now. So he's not a young man, so he only has so much time left at this point.
So continuing on with the article here from Crypto News, the author says, now, I'm sure your reaction would be the same as ours when first confronted with this news. A mix of, oh my God, no way, the last thing we need is a fiat currency with McAfee's face on it. We think that this face on a currency issued by Smart Payment could be a representation of his sustained war against authorities. However, for the sake of debate, let's take this into perspective. What if this news is true? What does it imply? A fiat currency that is backed by a crypto? Given cryptocurrencies are extremely volatile, this would mean the value of this probable fiat would be shooting up and down within a moment's notice. However, one crypto coin is impervious to the changing values. Tether, or as it's popularly known, USDT, no matter how much the market falls or rises, is always valued at $1.
That's because they're manipulating the supply, aren't they?
Yes.
The Tether?
Yes, they are.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that thing's a scam.
Right.
I'm not an expert on it, but to me, it just shouts, beware, red flag.
Right. And then I would also say that Ripple, to me, shouts scam. because that's another one to where the supply can wind up just being manipulated.
Well, isn't it like built into the system that they actually delete ripples? They burn them or whatever based on...
So when ripple are used, they are burned, but there's a process by which new ripple can wind up coming in, and there's not a cap.
Some banker just decides, or a group of bankers decide to increase the amount of ripple, right?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily bankers. Could just be the creator.
Well, it's a banker coin, though, isn't it? Isn't Ripple created by the banks?
I don't think it was created by the banks. I think a lot of banks have taken kindly to it.
Okay.
Continuing on, the author says, we're inclined to take this with a pinch of salt because McAfee changes his stance on cryptocurrencies faster than you can say EOS. In the past, he has said outlandish statements such as, I'll eat my junk on national television if one Bitcoin does not touch $500,000 in the next 3 years. He's also been guilty of spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or what cryptocurrency enthusiasts call FUD. He had this to say during Binance's downtime once, not trying to spread FUD, but I have received dozens of reports like this one. I'm just trying to understand. As a security researcher, I know that potential hacks are far more easy to solve if investigated immediately. Days later magnifies the task by an order of magnitude. When people told him to verify his news, he said he had more experience and asked them to shut the F up. After being publicly reprimanded by Binance, he then apologized. McAfee does have his own fanboys who think he may be onto something. However, a large part of the cryptocurrency community view him and his viewpoints with skepticism and suspicion. So, coming to the original question, is it an elaborate hoax, or does the mad genius really have something up his sleeve? Again, the article began by saying McAfee reached out to say it's not
real.
A hoax.
And it's supposedly coming out this month, so later, June 26th.
Right.
Yeah, 20 days.
So now they have an update that they said, be sure to read the update. John McAfee, within a few hours of the story going live, responded both in his Twitter as well as on Crypto News India's Twitter inbox, confirming it's not a hoax. And he notched it up by attaching a picture, which we've already looked at, of the upcoming denominations of his McAfee redemption units. How this whole thing is going to work is not clear at this point.
No, it's not clear at all.
And McAfee doesn't want to give much away yet.
Sure. I mean, he doesn't want somebody else to run with the idea.
But it is now clear it is not a hoax.
Well, he says it's not a hoax. I mean, that doesn't mean that there's... who knows what this is going to end up being.
So, by him saying it's not a hoax, that means he intends to wind up launching this thing.
Something, whatever
Whether or not it winds up, succeeding after he launches it is completely different. But his statement that it's not a hoax tells me that he intends to do a thing.
As long as you can travel to Puerto Vallarta, you'll be able to redeem these. So if you're willing to travel to Puerto Vallarta and then wherever it is that McAfee tells you to meet him in the United States somewhere, you'll be able to redeem these for FaceTime with John McAfee.
Yes.
But you can also, there's going to be 341,000 notes.
Are there really?
Equaling 6 million units.
Wow.
So, and you cannot, and the note is not activated until you...
But the question is, how many are you going to need to have to get time with him?
One unit is 1 minute.
Only one? But, yeah, are you going to have a minimum of a certain amount, right? Because,
1 minute?
1 minute?
So
I guess they bring you into a room.
If that's not enough, get 50.
Yeah, I guess if they bring you into a room, they start the clock, and then you got to leave.
And then that entire minute is, can you hear me? What? No, bad connection. What? What? I can't hear you.
That's true. FaceTime doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be there, right? Isn't there an app called FaceTime?
Yes.
Where people
That's
talk to one another?
That's what he's saying. Is using this app.
Is this place in Mexico an actual place?
No, it says here he'll meet with you, though, on the note.
On FaceTime.
All right. More coming up here. There's supposedly a location. More coming up.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved LicoChops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-261-9818 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-261-9818. Again, 800-261-9818.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up what you want here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in these remaining moments. We have enough time for you if you want to jump on the lines right now. Skype username is lrn.fm. And there's also our Discord on-air call-in line over at discord.lrn.fm. As we continue, of course, you can take control of the airwaves here and bring up anything you want. Our Twitch feed is back. Last night we had some technical difficulties behind the scenes, and that is now remedied. So we do have the Twitch stream going on, and that is the best way to watch the show. If you want to watch the actual studio goings on. Those are available to you. Just go to twitch.lrn.fm. That'll take you right to our Twitch channel, and you can hit the follow button. And then if you have the Twitch app on your phone, or if you want, you can turn on email notifications. You'll get, if you got notifications turned on, you'll get notices when we go live. That way you don't forget about it, which is pretty handy. And then there's also a chat room built right into Twitch, although it's not particularly active because most people chat on our Discord server. And every now and then, there'll be some video game streaming on the Twitch channel. And you can subscribe also on Twitch if you are an Amazon Prime user. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get one free subscription every month. If you didn't know that, well, then you might as well use it on us. If you did know that and you like us, then you should use it on us too. Then there's instructions on how to do that on our Twitch channel. Just scroll down below the video and you can read that. It's real simple. So once again, twitch.lrn.fm. You can watch us in HD there. As we go to Sarah, she's in New Mexico. Coming up, a guy steals a tank, and we'll tell you about that. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I just want to say, the drivers here in Albuquerque they're very resourceful. Our bicycle lane is used for 5 different purposes. It's a driving lane, passing lane, a parking lane, and a shopping cart lane and turning lane.
And
it serves all of those purposes.
Wait, legally it serves those purposes, or people just go ahead and do it anyways because they don't realize it's a bicycle. They don't have any.
Probably the latter.
They don't have any respect for the bicyclists out there.
Well, it's illegal, but they can't figure out what it is because they park in it and they drive in it. I guess they think because they can't figure out, so they just use it to push shopping carts back home with groceries.
Who pushes a shopping cart home?
It sounds like Sarah might. Sarah, do you even drive a bicycle?
Drive a bicycle.
Do you ride a bicycle?
I don't have a bike or a car.
She takes the bus.
But it's very hilarious. You see these cars parked along in a bike lane, and it's like these people are they're just really ridiculous.
How wide are these bicycle lanes?
Well, some of the bike lanes are about 5 foot, but the newly striped ones are about 8 to 10 feet.
What?
So they're confused. Yeah. I mean, the roads where they take the 4-car lanes and they turn it into 2-car lanes and put bicycle lanes. Those are the ones that the bike lanes are about 8 to 10 feet, so they drive in it. They think it's a car lane.
If
insane.
If these bike lanes are anything like what we have here in Keene. Yes, you can park on the side of the road, which just happens to be in the bike lane.
But that's not legal.
It is legal.
It's legal to park in a bike lane.
It's the side of the road where you park your car if you can't get it into your driveway. And if you're a bicyclist, you just have to go around. Now on the main roads, the bike lane is actually
its own lane.
It's
right?
its own lane on the interior of the parking space. But if you're in my neighborhood where there's 500 people living, you park on the side of the road in front of your house, and you are right in the bike lane. There's no other option but to go around. But
traffic isn't heavy.
But there's no big traffic anyway, so no big deal.
So Sarah, anything else you want to share with us tonight?
Well, the city just passed an ordinance. They're going to enforce it. They're going to cite people that are violating. But I just think it's funny because they have all these like dog poop laws. They never cite anybody for leaving dog poop at all. So to me, it sounds like it's comical. They talk up about something like they're going to do, and they never ticket anybody. I've never seen any tickets, so it sounds ridiculous. And it's got something to do with our education level. Do you think
you don't know, right? Like, because you're at home or whatever, you don't know if they're writing people tickets. How would you see it happen?
Well, they just passed an ordinance like 2 days ago that they're going to go.
No, I'm talking about the dog poop. How would you know if somebody's getting a dog poop ticket if you're not out there watching every cop at every moment on what they're doing? Here's what you should do, Sarah. You should file a Freedom of Information Act request with the city and ask them how many dog poop tickets that they gave out last year. Then that'll give you some actual information rather than you just speculating.
And she probably doesn't have whatever amount of money they're going to want to actually give her the documents.
And bicycle violation tickets as well. I'm curious.
So I've pulled up the City of Albuquerque's design manual.
Oh, God.
And
sounds awful.
They have information about bike lanes.
Okay.
The Department of Public something another, DPM, recommends that the minimum bike lane width of 5 feet measured from painted edge line to edge of gutter on roadways with posted speed limits of 40 miles an hour or greater, 4 foot on roadways with 35 miles per hour or less. So if it's one of these...
Those are wide bike lanes either way. I mean, 5 feet.
4 foot is
I'm used to like a foot or 2 feet or something like that.
You're underestimating how wide a bike lane is.
You drive up Court Street here in Keene, there's almost nothing.
Yeah, 1 foot is basically... The average grown man
I would say Court Street is
has
2
a
foot.
foot that is about 12 inches.
Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
So they've got pictures here and diagrams.
Do we really need to hear more about this?
Well, the bike lanes
we talk about
here.
Tanks. We talk about tanks.
So how much? I just want to explain why there might be a car in the bike lane.
Daryl,
they're 5 feet wide.
Where's the tank lane at?
There's not a tank lane, but...
Not according to this
They've got this bike lane in what most people would think of as the breakdown lane. So you know how when you're driving down the road, there's generally an area, if your car breaks down, you push it into that area. Or if, as Conan said, you don't have a driveway,
Let's talk about the tank.
You park on the side of the road.
Tell us the story about the tank.
Yeah, so story here from the Associated Press by way of Yahoo. The latest on an Army officer who's accused of stealing an armored personnel carrier from a National Guard base. 4:20 p.m. Army National Guard officer has been arraigned in Virginia on charges of stealing an armored vehicle and driving it more than 60 miles per hour during a high-speed chase while under the influence of drugs.
And no one ever says what he's on.
Joshua Phillip, and again, allegations that he was under the influence. Anybody could allege anything.
Sure.
Joshua Phillip Yabbitt appeared in the Richmond General District Court by video link from the city jail on Wednesday. No bond was set. His next court appearance is scheduled for July 11th. He was taken into custody Tuesday night about 2 hours after police say he drove away from the Fort Pickett in an armored personnel carrier. No one was injured during the incident. His attorney did not immediately return a call seeking comment. Efforts to reach family members who could comment were also unsuccessful. The Virginia National Guard said in a news release that Yabbitt is assigned as the commander of the Petersburg-based headquartered Company 276th Engineering Battalion. He has more than 11 years of service and was deployed to Afghanistan from 2008 to 2009.
Dude, they brought out every cop in the city, like the entire street, after this tank passes by a cameraman on the streets in Richmond. The entire street is just
this is exactly
with
what happened here 2 months ago when that dude with the firearm drunk fell asleep on his floor, and they closed the street down all morning.
Did you see the video of the FBI guy that was at some club dancing and he did a backflip and his gun fell out of his
we talked about that a couple
waistband?
Days ago. That was insane.
Here's something interesting about this Mr. Yabbitt. Apparently, he's a former developer for Zencash.
Nuh-uh. Really?
That's what Yahoo reports. Zencash issued a statement on Wednesday that he was a developer. He left in June 2017. The statement says that he left. Yabbitt intentionally made public a Zencash vulnerability that he had coded in.
I want to know more about this National Guardsman and why he decided to snap. What caused this?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
He's doing 45 miles an hour down Main Street.
He's hauling ass, dude, in this tank.
And what drugs he was on? Because I don't want any of them.
He tweeted, "Where is this damn water buffalo? And all I want to do is get an anime wife."
Wow. Okay, and he did that while stealing the tank, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 6th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.58 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,296 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,609. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. Treasury Department on Tuesday issued a statement directed at allied governments and private companies operating out of allied countries, warning them against trade with Iran, warning they face substantial risk if they are caught. The Undersecretary of the Treasury said that the world must harden their financial networks and make sure they have airtight procedures in place to prevent even accidental business ties to Iran. He added that nations must ensure that Iran and its proxies are not exploiting your companies to support their nefarious activities. Though presented as a warning about being tricked by Iran, the warning is likely primarily directed at EU nations, as the EU has already decided to prohibit its companies complying with U.S. sanctions on Iran. The European Union is planning to try to block the U.S. from punishing those companies, but many of the major businesses are being very cautious about new deals with Iran, fearing the U.S. will go after them anyhow. U.S. sanctions against Iran's nuclear program are expected to ratchet up in the next several months after President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the nuclear deal. Yet the deal remains in place, and many nations may not be willing to follow the U.S. in this crackdown so long as Iran remains compliant. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals on Tuesday stayed the execution of a man convicted of murdering a 93-year-old woman so his mental capacity can be reviewed. Clifton Lamar Williams was scheduled to be executed on June 21st, but his lawyers argued he is intellectually disabled and therefore ineligible to be executed. Williams, who has an IQ in the mid-60s, broke into Cecilia Snyder's home during a robbery in 2005, killed her, burned her body, and fled in a car, according to court records. On Tuesday, the Texas Court of Criminal Criminal Appeals decided to send Williams' case to a lower court for a hearing to consider his mental capacity. The court wrote, "We remand this application to the convicting court for a live hearing to further develop evidence and make a new recommendation to the court on the issue of his intellectual disability." Prior attempts to have Williams' execution stayed were denied, but Texas has since reevaluated how it determines intellectual disability for death row inmates. The change came after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Texas's method for determining intellectual disability used outdated medical standards in the case of another death row inmate, Bobby Moore. Since the change, the sentence of 2 men on Texas's death row have been commuted to life in prison based on claims of intellectual disability. The execution of Williams was the first to be stopped by the court in 2018. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Reuters reports a former contestant on Donald Trump's reality TV show, The Apprentice, may pursue her defamation lawsuit against the president, according to a New York judge's ruling on Tuesday, despite Trump's efforts to have an appeals court put it on hold. Summer Zervos has claimed that Trump sexually harassed her and defamed her when he denied her allegations. Trump has argued that as a sitting president, he is immune from the lawsuit and is seeking an order from New York's highest court to freeze the case. The lawsuit could lead to Trump being questioned under oath and draw further attention to accusations of sexual misconduct against the president by more than a dozen women. Trump has denied the claims. At a hearing on Tuesday, Trump's lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, argued unsuccessfully before Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Jennifer Schechter that Zervos' lawsuit should not go forward until the New York Court of Appeals and, if necessary, the U.S. Supreme Court decide the issue. Zervos accused Trump of subjecting her to unwanted kissing and groping after she sought career advice in 2007. She came forward during the 2016 presidential campaign, and Trump called her allegations lies. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the nose buds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
On the field here on Declare, your independence of me. You're in the Hancock here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedom's S Phoenix.com. Yep, I almost forgot how to spell it. All right. Now, what we're going to do today in the last 2 hours and probably go long, we're going to have Charles Goyette's going to come back in and kind of hang. he needs to return, my chainsaw anyway. He need to clear some palm tree thing or something. I go, yeah, come back on the show then when you come back. So he's going to come in for a couple hours and we're going to hang. And man, if it isn't time, I'm getting the EBGBs, man. There's something going on. And I tell you, who's really going to help us with the, understanding the EBGBs, why you all EBGB'd up? James Corbett. He had to call off last time a couple weeks ago or something because of something. He had like life or sick or kids or travel or something, and it put us way behind. I mean, we got a whole bunch of stuff to go on here. You got one favorite you want to start off with, James?
Well, let's do my most recent because it's the most fresh in my memory. So the one that I can talk most cogently about. That's my new podcast on Paul Ehrlich. Meet Paul Ehrlich, pseudoscience charlatan. Okay.
Now, Paul Ehrlich, I remember you were mentioning something about him going, okay, this is back when I was a little kid, okay? Back in the I was born in 61, so that's like, 6, 7.
You'd be very young indeed.
Yeah, first, second grade, and I remember, we're all going to die in population explosion, and, pretty soon it'll be like, more billions, and we got to kill humans and you first and that kind of thing. So exactly. Go ahead and tell me why he's in the news now.
All right, so Population Bomb was written almost exactly 50 years ago. It was last month, so a couple weeks late. But anyway, 50 years ago, the Population Bomb was written. It is one of those very, very few works of whatever you call that, science faction, whatever you want to call that, science literature